Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from. And welcome back to the Crypto Analyst live stream, where of course today we're going to be talking about all things crypto, Bitcoin, Altcoin related. We're going to be doing some technical analysis, breaking down the, really the technical and the fundamentals of the market and what's happening right now. So welcome everybody. If you are watching this back or if you're just tuning in right now, welcome. It's great to have you in here, and we're going to have a great night tonight. So, as always, guys, hold on, let me go ahead and adjust this mic first things first. The market has been actually very interesting today. It has been actually a good, fun, interesting day in the market. So, I have thoroughly enjoyed today and looking at what's been happening. So, as always, we're going to go ahead and get this started off and get our links out there ASAP so we can go ahead and get this started on the roll. I guess, get this show on the road. So let's go ahead and grab these. I did prepare a little bit more for this one. So now I can kind of just paste the links instead of actually having to go through the whole process. And boom, the links are out to everyone. So there we go. All right, so yeah, so I want to do this one a little bit differently. And I want to start this out a little bit differently because of the fact that I usually get started on Bitcoin right away, or within, I would say the first 5 minutes or so. And then by the time that I've done Bitcoin, everyone's finally in here. So what I want to do this time is probably wait a little bit, talk about some fundamentals of the market, maybe go through Ethereum first, and then go through a full analysis of Bitcoin on the 1, the 4, the 1 day, the 3 day, and the 1 week. Maybe even the 1 month as well. So we're going to be doing a heavy as on Bitcoin tonight because I think that there's a lot of potential here. And this is a very, very, crucial part. And, as I'm looking at this chart, I've looked at this chart for, hours today alone. And as I'm looking at it right now, I'm still seeing more things. So there's a lot of things to cover in Bitcoin. So I want to make sure that we go through and do a heavy analysis. But I also want to make sure that since we're doing such a heavy, crucial, deep analysis on Bitcoin tonight, everybody has a chance to see this. So we are going to be giving people extra time to get in here. We're going to be talking about some fundamentals and going through chat in the meantime. Digi says pump. Digi, I'll tell you what, we're going to be talking about that today because there is I would say that there's a large chance for both sides at this point. So I'm not going to go too deep into the analysis yet because everybody needs to have a chance to get in here, but we are going to be go ahead and diving into this because there's some really cool stuff. And so for the people who are watching this back and for the people who are going to be able to participate and watch tonight, I think it's going to be really, really useful and insightful. So, but that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, Power to Achieve, welcome. Digi, welcome. Great to have you guys. Yeah, so as I see more people are joining in here, I do want to go ahead and I guess we can go ahead and zoom this out a little bit. But if you guys watched the video earlier today, I'll recap this until everyone starts getting in here, and then we'll start going into the new information. One more massive dump before an uptrend. I think it's very possible. I really do. I think it's very, very possible. I just have a hard time believing that this is it. If this was it, I guess I could live with it, but I don't know. I have a hard time believing that this would be it. So, at least from a larger scale. But nonetheless, we're going to be breaking all that down, so don't worry. Moving on over to here, I want to talk about the recapping. For those of you guys who didn't get enough time or something to watch the video, we're going to recap this and then go into all the new material. So with this happening as it is right now, I drew up 2 resistance lines because originally I just had the 1. So I just had this one. And as I was going through this earlier today and actually looking at what Bitcoin might do, I noticed that, there could really be a second one in here. So the second one was really in this area. So right about here. So what this does is if we enlarge this a little bit, we can actually, and I mentioned the fact that we could cut off this wick if we wanted to and just do this. It really does not make the world's difference. I mean, going from here to here is like a $10 move. So if that really bothers you, you can adjust it however you see fit. But you can either cut off the wick and get some candle body closings, or you can just hold it up here. So with that being said, you have this, and again, that really doesn't move resistance a lot, but what this does is it gives us around 2 or 3 touch points, and we can see that this area is still getting rejected. It's actually a falling rejection, which if you're just looking at the 50 EMA, that's not going to be enough. because of the fact that the 50 EMA is up here and you're still getting rejection down here. So I think that's really where this resistance line comes into play. So there, yeah, there we go. And again, you can adjust this. Actually, that's not even right. That's not even on. There we go. Now it's on. I'm a stickler when it comes to this kind of thing. Yeah, dude, VeChain is really performing well. Someone was talking about VeChain a couple days ago, or before the pump, and I forget who it was. But yeah, someone was actually just talking about VeChain, and then, you know, sure enough, here it is a couple days later, and that thing is performing fantastically right now. So again, yeah, these are really my overbearing resistances for Bitcoin, at least in the short term. So yeah, again, like this is nothing big. This is since January 7th. So our overbearing one since January 7th. Our short-term one has been since like January 19th. So these are very short-term resistances. And of course, you do have the overbearing one. You have two overbearing ones. You have, I guess you have the pennant top, and then you of course have the giant resistance that we've had for like a year now, over a year, or about a year probably, somewhere around that. So almost a year. So you have, again, a number of overbearing resistances. But on our shorter time period, as we are looking at this more and more, you do have these two smaller ones on the time scale. So I want to go ahead and break that down as well. So supports is, I guess, where it starts getting interesting, because you could draw this up like 1,000 different ways if you really wanted to. One of the things that I was actually looking at as I was starting the live stream was something a little bit more oriented like this, because this isn't something I really saw before, and this isn't something I saw by today's video, but it makes all the world's sense. Because of the fact now you have a triple touch point support, a very decent one, that has formed at this point. So here, let's go ahead and adjust this, because again, that's going to get to me. I got a little bit of OCD here. So, go ahead and draw this guy in. Boom. So now that we're at this point, again, so why is this significant, right? When we're looking at this, yo, what's up, Jalen? Great to have you in here. So when I'm looking at this, you could even, honestly, you could even adjust this to even have four touch points on the support. But if we're gonna like respect these wicks really well, we'll just count it as this 3, 4. At this point, it doesn't matter. I say 3 touch points is a verified support. So because of the fact that it has touched here, it is a verified support in my book, and that makes it pretty significant, because now you actually have a good solid trend at this point. And if you're looking at these as resistances, this can kind of look at this. You can kind of look at this as a falling wedge, and you can also do the same thing if you wanted to look at it like this way and connect these guys. Or again, there's a number of ways to connect the dots in here. I think a lot of these are not quite as good. This one's good as well, because this would give you 3 touches, and it would look again something like a little bit like this, and we can kind of extend these lines out to draw that. I need to make this bigger. I'm sorry, guys. But again, I think the most significant support in this area are probably going to be these two, because of the fact that you are, again, this one's very verified. You have like 4 touch points on it now. You have 1. Let's go ahead and label these. So breaking this down again, 1, 2, 3, and now 4. So that's why this is really catching my eye over here. And of course, in here you have, you now have 1, 2, and 3. So I'll probably keep this one in as well. So if we are breaking down, these are the areas in the immediate future that I'm going to see before we really get any lower and get towards like double bottoming on Bitcoin. Now that is if I'm a bear, and there have been a lot of cases. I've seen so many things recently that everyone was bearish, which got me really nervous. But the more I was looking at cryptocurrency today, I was seeing that there were a lot more bulls in the market, a lot more bulls from YouTubers, and it's weird because it comes in waves. It really does. So you look at this, and I don't know how it happens, but it's almost like this unanimous decision where I get on and all the content I see is bullish, all the articles I see are bullish, and I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's because of the single candle that we had over here or what, but it's weird because you go on YouTube and again it's this bull sentiment that just comes out, and like it comes out, and then all the YouTubers and creators and analysts, and they all kind of just agree, and then that's the sentiment for the day. And the next day it could be the complete opposite. But like for whatever reasons, today's decision was to make everything bullish, and I saw all these Elliott waves and falling wedge predictions of saying that we were like, you know, shooting back up, which again is very possible because of what we just talked about. But I think it's just kind of funny how everyone just like bandwagons to these ideas. Not everyone, but there's like groups of people that bandwagon to these ideas daily, and they can change so vastly or so quickly. So right here, again, someone was talking in the Discord earlier about how they want to go both bullish and bear, or how they want to both long and short this at the same time. And you know, as first you kind of, not that I like laugh at that because I'm making fun of them, but it's just one of those things where you're like, don't we all wish that we could go long and short at the same time here, because of the fact that this really has such great potential to go really explode in both directions, because of the fact that if you really do start conquering this area, you're going to start moving up rather quickly, because this is going to, again, this is really the hardest resistance that you have in this area. So if you're able to actually beat this and conquer this, this is when you're going to start moving up fast. And this is what people are kind of counting on until you get up, probably back up to around this higher high, or, you know, probably somewhere around, again, I've seen a lot of predictions anywhere from like 36 to 3,700, and then us falling back down again. I don't know if we're going to be able to hit that range. Again, time's going to tell over here. But I do want to go ahead and start breaking down the real analysis now that we have been live for like over 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and actually start breaking this down. So as always, guys, I guess not as always. So tonight we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to start on the 1 hour. We're going to go from the 1 hour to the 4 hour to the 1 day to the 3 day to the 1 week, and maybe even the 1 month. And we're going to be doing a very, very heavy technical analysis of Bitcoin, because again, this is a crucial area, and I think this is more crucial than people really understand. And this is really a pivotal point, because this really does have the potential to be the market reversal for Bitcoin. It has the potential, but just because something has the potential doesn't mean it's actually going to play out. So we're going to be really doing a heavy-fledged analysis as to what I believe is probable and what I believe is going to happen over here. So we're going to be working our way up the time scales, again, getting progressively more, I would say, more heavy. I guess the emphasis should get more heavy the larger the time scale that we look at. So with each increment and increase in time scale, the more serious and the more heavy the technical analysis is going to be. So again, starting on the 1 hour, the least significant time scale, again, I would say is still a very, very significant one, especially for traders. Let me go through chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm ignoring chat. Jalen says, what's up? Great to have you. Robert, great to have you. Great job. Yo, thank you so much, Robert. Power to Achieve says LRC is up 50% with 33 million in volume. Wow. Now and going up nonstop. Is LRC link chain, I think? Am I right about that, Power to Achieve? I know that one is going ridiculous. If you guys haven't looked at Link, wait here, I'll tell you what, I'll show you guys Link real fast. Link is going absolutely, like, hold on, let's look at this for a second. Like, this is its all-time high in 2018, and its Satoshi value is currently blowing through that. So I don't know what they announced, I don't know what they did, but Link is tearing up the game at this point. So, I mean, if you hold Link, props to you, because that's phenomenal. Like, jeez. Anyway, back to Bitcoin. Let's get into this thing. Back to our 1 hour. So, in the immediate future of Bitcoin, what do we see over here? Well, again, guys, so with the thing that I really did cover earlier, it was with us falling down, and you can see this even better here. I do have the fib retracements up as well. So this line that you see right here is the 618, and then this green one is going to be the 50% retracement. And so with us falling down and actually coming back over here, trying to do like a reverse BART action actually, but it failed. And so with the reverse BART failing, you're actually hitting this previous support, using it now as resistance, getting rejected from that, and then of course really riding this line down. So in the short term of Bitcoin, looking at our indicators and oscillators, over here it's actually not looking too bad. You're getting higher highs on your MACD. Again, that's great to see. Your oscillators came up over towards the bullish sides, but they look like they're starting to round down as of right now. Again, something that I mentioned in the video earlier as to why I'm bearish in the short term, because of the fact that as we are looking at this, I definitely am bearish, because of the fact that I believe you are losing momentum. So with these rounding down, sorry, I was little bit of a loss for words there. But with ourselves rounding down here, what this shows me is that your oscillators are getting lower at this point because of your previous swing high. Let me go ahead and highlight this. Previous swing high being at this area, and now your next, again, swing high up into the bullish zone for your oscillators being at a lower level. Now, again, this could turn around, but for the most part, it looks like they are rounding off on your 1 hour. So, I'm looking at that, and I'm also looking, but again, not the most bearish scenario because of the fact that you are still getting higher highs on your MACD, so you really can't be too upset. But I think that it is time for some downside in the price action of Bitcoin, at least within the short term. Moving over to here, this is a little bit harder to read because of the fact that this is a 1 hour made for a 4 hour. Again, over here, and we'll highlight this probably even more so on our 4 hour chart because that one's going to be a lot better. But this is, again, really what I'm noticing in Bitcoin right now is this line up top. And that's the thing that really has me bearish for Bitcoin more so than anything else. I would say the candle chart's pretty bearish in my opinion, but also the fact that this is where I think secret things start getting underplayed. And by the way, I changed the colors of all of this so that you guys can see it better. Someone, I don't forget who it was, someone commented on my video and they're like, hey, do you mind changing the color of the RSI and how it looks so we can read it better? And I said, absolutely. So here we go. We have it green. Hopefully it's easier to read now. I think it definitely is. I also made the lines thicker, so looking at this anyway. So what I'm noticing over here and how this can actually get kind of sneaky is that you're looking at this and you're getting progressively lower highs, and I think I talked about this a little bit in today's video, but with this being a 1 hour time scale, you can kind of see this more vividly than the 4 hour because of the fact that there's just like a whole lot of more chart movement. So of course, getting consistently lower highs shows me that there is less and less bullish volume and less bullish momentum. So increasingly lower levels of bullish momentum going all the way down over here, looking like you just barely tipped yourself on your 1 hour up into your overbought territory. And now that this is coming back down again, bearish in the short term. So could you have something peak back up in here? Definitely possible. Again, you have a lot of room to still move up and respect this. But the way that trend lines work, I want to stress this, the way that trend lines work on the RSI is it's not like it has to bounce in between this range and it doesn't have to touch this line. All that this line is here to show us is that there is increasingly lower highs on your RSI, and what that does in turn tells us is that there is lower levels of positive momentum coming into this market upon each swing high. So that's what essentially what this is telling us, not that this is like a trend line, like a candle chart, because that's not how you read the RSI. So on the same thing though, again, you can't look at this as just a one-sided argument. You got to look at this as on the bottom as well, because looking at this from the bottom, you're seeing kind of the same deal. However, this is where it really gets more evident than the 4 hour because of the fact that this is your second swing low over here, being a higher low, but also with this thing, I believe personally to play it out its lifetime already, going from heavily oversold, touching just over into the overbought territory. Now I believe that this has reconciled itself. So whatever kind of momentum that this would, ideally would have given us, I think is up. And now again, I think we're heading into at least a short time for the bears. But looking at this from a 1 hour, again, there's a lot of chart movement in this area. Or there's a lot of course, you have like a lot of candle body closings on your 1 hour. But the chart movement, for the most part, has been the same, right? We've been essentially just doing parabolic move, consolidation, parabolic candle, consolidation. And it's usually like 1 or 2 hour candles. And it almost really never takes longer than that. I mean, if you look at these, this is a 1 hour chart, and you can see like, okay, well, this was 2 candles right here in this drop, and this was 1 candle in here, and this was 1 candle drop, 1 candle drop, 1 candle up, 1 candle up, 1 candle down, 2 candles up, 1 candle down, 1 candle down, 1 candle up, 2 candles up. Like, you look at this, and these are essentially just parabolic moves that are done in, and it's weird because what this tells me is that there is either manipulation or bots controlling this market. One of the two, probably bots from the way that this is moving, because of the fact that you just don't have, and there was an article released today. It was the fact that there are groups sending out shillers to battle the bots, because if things are getting shilled, it's supposed to throw off the algorithms of the bots or something. So beware the shillers, because apparently there's supposed to be shillers everywhere. But in looking at this again, guys, it's parabolic moves followed by consolidation. And really what that tells me is that there's bot algorithms running awry in here. So again, keep that in mind. Or that there's, you know, some sort of manipulation. Moving on to the 4 hour, my favorite time scale. The one that I would say I trade off the most frequently and the one that I look at the most often. The one that we did our BTC technical analysis on today, so I don't want to go too far into that, or too deep into this, because of the fact that we just did, like, you know, a whole like 15-minute video on this earlier today. But looking at this, again, we already talked about a lot of this, but we did not talk about our indicators or oscillators. So let's go ahead and talk about this guy a little bit. So when I'm looking at this, I'm noticing a couple of things. One, again, let's highlight this. So I want to recognize this guy, your oscillator is increasingly going up. Higher lows on your oscillator, which is looking good. But I also want to highlight the fact that we could be looking at a potentially triple bearish divergence on our 4 hour MACD. Can I delete this? There we go. So how could we possibly look at this as triple bullish or bearish divergence? Because of the fact that you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, well, this really doesn't look too bad. If we're looking at it from this way and this way, you know, that looks fairly bullish to me. But if we look at it from the opposite side, we can really see something, I would say, even worse. So you can be looking at this as well, getting, again, increasingly higher lows on your oscillators. This thing came down, reset, and this is where, again, I believe things are really going downhill for your oscillators in this area, and also where you could be seeing triple bearish divergence, because I do believe that this MACD is going to round off fairly soon, and if it does round off in this area, it's going to set itself up for triple bearish divergence. And again, if that happens, let's go ahead and adjust that just a little bit, and if that happens again, triple bearish divergence on your 4 hour MACD, I would say is fairly significant. So just another reason why I am a little bit bearish. But there's plenty of time, I guess, for this to get contradicted. I certainly think that it is running out of time. But again, it's not played out yet. This is not confirmed. Your oscillators are still pointing pretty much straight up for the most part. And again, another reason, so I'm looking at this saying, all right, well, can this really round off? Can this really round off here and form triple bearish divergence? Well, let's see if it's not rounding off on the 4 hour yet. What I can do is I can actually go down to our 3 hour and say, okay, well, is it rounding off on the 3 hour? And it actually is. So you can see that this is starting to round off on your 3 hour, and then you can say, okay, well, let's go down to our 2 hour. And again, it's rounding off even harder. And you can say, okay, well, what about the 1 hour? And again, even harder. So it's progressively, again, the lower time frame you get, you can see that this is beginning to round off on lower time frames, which is telling me that it's going to happen, next on your 4 hours. So that's again another reason why I think that we could be looking at, even if you don't want to call this triple bearish divergence, you can go like this, and this is definitely, there's really no arguing it, double bullish divergence. So again, even if you want to argue that it's not triple, you cannot argue that if this were to round off at this point, it would not be at least double what I think to be triple bearish divergence. So argue it either as double or triple, but if this rounds off, it is bearish divergence on your MACD, on your 4 hour MACD. Looking at this from the RSI, this is when things, again, get a little bit more clean. Let's draw this guy in here. So looking at this, of course, first swing high, second swing high, third swing high. Each one. We talked about this on the 1 hour chart, so there's not too much to dive into here without just completely reiterating ourselves. But let me look at chat, I guess, before I go too deep and explain this. I actually need to get some water as well. Last trade of Bitcoin futures contract for January 25th, 2019. Trading terminates at 4 p.m. Oh, when is that? Oh, yeah, it's in a couple days. So that'll be a huge decision point. So you know that when futures contracts expire, there is almost always a large move in the market. So I would say get ready for... yeah, get ready, to be honest. Get ready, because January 25th, around, I'd say January 24th, 25th, 26th, you're going to have some decent-sized moves in the market, and we'll see around that area. So when is that? I want to say that that's like Friday. Am I right? Or is that Thursday? No, yeah, it's definitely Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. So, yeah, get ready, because that's definitely going to cause some movement. Place your bets. Is it going to be up or down? Bitcoin determines what the rest of the cryptos do. Nice. Yeah, it really does. And there's been a few exceptions. I would say that there's been 3 times in my time doing technical analysis where I've seen that it hasn't played out that way. The first time being in January of 2018. The next one being in, I think it was like spring of 2018, and the other one was a couple months ago into like summer/fall. And there was 3 times, again, only 3 times that I've really ever seen it in the past year, and it's very, very rare. So almost always, yeah, 9 times out of 10, the golden rule is that the altcoins follow Bitcoin. Randy says, hi, what's up, Randy? Great to have you. Miguel, welcome back. Power to Achieve, the long-lost king. I wouldn't really say you were long or lost. You're definitely long because you've been here for a long time, and I appreciate it. Patience pays off. The bulls will be coming. Yeah, and so that's the thing is, and I think, so if you're a bull, right? If you're a bull, I want to say stick around, because this is not going to be a completely bearish technical analysis. And I know people joke around that I'm too bearish about this, and they're going to keep saying that I'm bearish until we get a higher swing high. And a lot of people like to joke around that, you know, I'm the perma bear, but I'm really not. And for people who have been around for a long time would know that I'm like a huge, huge bull on crypto. But just wait. Just wait. If you're a bull, just wait till we get to some of the larger timescales, and you're really gonna like what we're gonna be going over, right? You're gonna be getting really hyped. So just wait till we get to some of the larger timescales, and this will slowly start turning progressively more and more bullish. The larger timescales that we see. So power to Achieve, just for you and all you other bulls out there. What is your target from here? I haven't opened short and can't decide when and if I should close it yet. Well, I'll tell you this, BTC buyer. I cannot tell you. Okay, so what is my target? For Bitcoin, I would say my target is really heading down to. I'm not shorting Bitcoin. I'm shorting Ethereum, and we'll dive into my Ethereum after we get done Bitcoin. But I'm currently shorting Ethereum. So I'm expecting it to fall. I'm expecting it to fall like at least $10 from where it is right now. Currently, I'll put it that way. So I don't want to spoil too much because we're going to be getting into it. Anyway. Yeah, so I am shorting right now. I can't tell you if you should close it or open it or what you should do, but I can't tell you that I'm shorting. Nice to be here. Well, great to have you. Hard not to be a bear right now when most of the people behave like bears expect. Yeah. So that's pretty much been our 4 hour. Let's go ahead and move into our 1 day. This is when things really start kicking off, right? For all you bulls out there, you'll probably, I mean, I don't think the 1 day is really bullish, but like, yeah. Anyway, I want to go ahead and make this, I got to sit up so I can see over my microphone. I want to go ahead and show this, that the volume is indeed increasing over here. You can kind of see that this has been fading off and getting progressively smaller. So looking at the volume at the bottom of the screen, you can certainly see that the volume has been falling off, right? But this has been since December, right? We fell down pretty hard right before December in November, probably about mid-November. And then ever since then, again, that was a ton of negative pressure. But ever since that, again, we have been losing volume on Bitcoin. Generally, again, not something you want to see. We had some good even buy volume afterwards, but so you are losing volume on your 1 day chart, which is telling me that this is getting squeezed. You're under your oscillator over here for your volume. Is it an oscillator for our volume? I want to say it's our 20-day moving average for our volume. Yeah. Oops, I'm drawing. So what this does is, what this means essentially is that it's getting potentially squeezed in this area, and that with it getting squeezed, it's preparing for a breakout one way or another. And so that's what I'm looking at this and saying, all right, well, it's preparing itself for a breakout one way or another, and we're going to have to see really how that goes. Let's dive into this guy. So the 1 day. Again, all you bulls are going to like this. Double bullish divergence. So what is this showing me? Well, this is showing me that, again, the same deal that it was showing me over here. With this being bearish, really over here what this is showing me is that this could potentially be very bullish. This looks like it's rounding off over here. It's coming from a pretty steep drop, probably one of the lowest it's ever been. Yeah, one of the lowest it's ever been. But with this area, it's actually showing me that this could potentially be rounding off with the double bullish divergence on your daily. Now, with these, they're beginning to round off but I'm still a little bit skeptical in this area. Your MACD, again, though, you know, ideally, if you were to look at this, you would say that, hey, this isn't that bad of a chart. Your selling pressure was pretty low. So when I'm looking at this and reading at this and you're comparing this to other things, really your swing low over here was pretty low. You had a ton of freaking positive buy volume on your MACD, and the fact that your negative volume after so much buying volume was so low is actually pretty surprising for me. So if I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, well, we just had an absolute ton of buying pressure, and oh shoot, all right, I want to highlight something else on here. But after seeing so much buying pressure and seeing such little negative pressure, again, that's a thing for me of saying, okay, well, this bear market is indeed coming to an end. I don't believe it's over yet, but you can see that the end of the bear market is slowly coming because of the fact that you are getting things like this. Now, remember, when we saw moves in this range, and let's go ahead and show you like what I mean by this, but when we saw moves in this range over here, anywhere really around this range, you would have a harsh bear side following this. And the fact of the matter is, over here, you just don't have that right now. So over here, again, following this area, right, we touch this area, significantly, like 10 times larger to our MACD volatility. Same thing over here, again, significantly volatile. Touch this level over here, significantly volatile. Even over here, you know, we weren't even close to touching the level, but we are still probably, you know, 2 times, if not 3 times as volatile. Now that we're touching this area again, almost no volatility. So that's saying that the negative volume is starting to dry up and these bears are getting done with this bear market. And you could actually be looking at this to come to an end over here. And now something that I talked about for the longest time, and this is, again, something so cool. Something that, and so again, my thoughts are all over the place right now. But when I'm looking at this, what I see is the potential for the market reversal to start. It's not time yet, but it's coming. And that's what I see. I see these baby steps of spotting reversals is what makes such a big impact, in my opinion. Perfect. I'm caught up on all of our messages, too. So, the oscillators are what played a very key role here. So, if you guys have watched me for a while, I've talked about one thing. And that was these oscillators on our daily MACD, you know, consecutively being lower over here, right? Very consecutively. And I don't know if that's even the right word, but you guys can kind of see as I highlight this. However, although our positive volume, our positive oscillators on our daily MACD were dropping off, your negative oscillators were dropping off, your positive ones were all staying relatively the same the entire way through over here. So you were holding the same positive, you were essentially holding the same positive oscillators, the same levels of positive momentum, while you were, you know, significantly losing levels of negative momentum from your daily MACD oscillators. And so what this showed me is as this started dropping off again, as this failed over around September, I saw that something big was coming because of the fact that we were getting squeezed in that giant descending triangle, but also the fact that this pattern had been broken. And so that's when things, again, really start looking like it was going to explode. And sure enough, it did, you know, falling like $3,000 in a matter of days. And we'll see this, I believe, even more clearly on our weekly MACD when we get to it. And that's when you can actually see a pennant form. You know, like, I say a pennant, but essentially just a pennant on your MACD of just this massive 2 colossuses that were just going to just meet. And you knew that this was going to be an explosion one way or another. And that's exactly what we saw, you know, with the price dropping $3,000 from over $6,000 all the way down to $3,100. So what this did actually was create a very, very significant bull trap, because of the fact that you had this, right? You were looking at this, and as soon as this broke, again, you'd have to recognize, all right, something was coming, something's wrong here, because this pattern that we had been, you know, broken at this point. So, Thomas Sawyer said nobody's interested in crypto anymore. Well, I would say that you're right, except for the fact that all $120 billion in it says otherwise. So, how much is it? How much is Apple worth? How much is Apple worth, like the company? Does anybody know? Can we Google that for a second? The fact that cryptocurrency is worth, I believe, isn't Apple worth like $1 trillion or something like that? I think cryptocurrency right now is worth more than Amazon itself. So the fact that the entirety of the crypto market, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, fact check me and keep me accountable. But or is it 900 billion? Sorry, I'm reading through articles. The first article I said it was that it's 1 trillion. Oh yeah, 1 trillion. Yikes. I said 1 billion. Did I say 1 billion? I meant 1 trillion. My bad. I definitely got my numbers slightly mixed up. So at one point, yeah. So at one point, cryptocurrency was the same market cap of Apple. But here's the thing. As a lot of these companies, they have... So cryptocurrency just had its 10th birthday on January 4th of 2019, right? It's just turned 10 years old. So for a founding technology, again, a decentralized technology rather, that has only been around for 10 years, it is hard to say that it's doing bad. It's hard to say that any company, if you were to start, again, I hate comparing cryptocurrency to a company, but the fact of the matter is that you've had the fastest growth in any market that you've had in cryptocurrency. It's been faster growing than gold, silver, stocks, and Forex combined. It has had a faster growth rate statistically, there's really no arguing it, than any of those other ones. And in addition to that, it's a decentralized platform. So the fact is you have a decentralized thing working than centralized, working faster than centralized, I don't know what you want to call them, platforms, use cases. And I think that that's something to note, is the fact that something that is decentralized can go from a zero market cap to almost a $1 trillion market cap in 9 years. And then, of course, 10 years later being still over $120 billion. That's really great progress. And anybody who were to start a company or to start anything, like no matter who it was, if we look at this and we say, man, I started this 10 years ago and now it's worth $120 trillion. It started with one coin 10 years ago, and then here we are 10 years later, and you have thousands of coins worth collectively over $120 billion. Like, that's not bad. Like, that's still significantly good. And the only reason why people say it's bad is because of the fact that you had it run down from... Because of the fact that you had it go up to nearly $1 trillion market cap and back down to probably about a ninth of what it was at its all-time high. Tom Sawyer, interest low, and that's a big bull signal. Nope, it went down a lot. It's not worth more. Yeah, it's not worth more than Amazon. I was actually reading about that the other day. It's not even close. It's not even close. At its peak, it was approaching it, but it's still not even close to Amazon. Amazon's giant. Amazon is significantly dominant more. So again, I hate to get too much into like stocks and politics about this, but Amazon is to the point of where they are such an economic giant. It's actually being discussed in the world right now between a lot of the big countries. They are going to actually start regulating Amazon because of the point that they've gotten to the point where they are so big that they have to be regulated because they are being classified actually as a monopoly. And at this point, they are having restrictions placed on them about how much more they can expand, what markets that they can get into, what they can sell. And a lot of these things are actually being compressed down on Amazon. And they're going to be under some harsh regulation soon because of the fact that they are growing so fast and that they are being seen as a dominant monopoly around the world. And that if they were to have no regulation, I think it was something like between the next 5 and 10 years, they would dominate the majority of the world economy. And that's, again, something that's not acceptable. So now you have governments preparing harsh regulations on Amazon. It's because they don't want them to become too powerful. And it makes sense, right? They essentially popularized internet selling, e-commerce. So they're brilliant in that. But... yeah, crypto is a $120 billion market cap. Exactly. Market cap is such a dumb indicator, especially if you use CoinMarketCap. Yeah. It's good and bad. It's not decentralized very well. Well, I would tell you that I don't know how you argue that. You have something that has no creator. It's untamperable. You can't shut it down. You can't tamper with it. And if done correctly, you can't hack it. It has no creator. Like, it's really about as decentralized as it gets. Wow. Okay, so while certain coins can be centralized, right? We've seen that before. There are centralized coins, and those are not the purpose of the blockchain. But the blockchain at its core, especially with Bitcoin, is probably the most decentralized example that you'll ever get. We don't know who the creator was. He made it so that it was strategically spread out over the course of time, so that no one company, person, or organization or country could ever have a dominant source over it, because of the fact that it was dribbling out over a long period of time rather than all at once, so that one person given that time period couldn't just gobble it all up. So it was anonymously given out. We don't know who the creators were. They made it so that it can never be shut down, it can never be tampered with, and it can never be dominated. In order to shut down the blockchain, you'd essentially have to shut down the entirety of the internet, or the entirety of electronics on the earth. And that's how the blockchain works. So in its core, it really is a global device. And you can't say that it's not decentralized. You can say that it's, I guess you can argue a lot of things, like it's bad and stuff, but you can't say, that's like saying that the sky, the sky is blue to you, but it's not blue to me. Right? You could say, okay, and don't argue something stupid, like it's, during a sunset, it's like pink or something. But like, that's like saying that, I don't know, like I'm not white, right? I don't know. Something like that. There are absolute truths. And one of the absolute truths of this is that it is a decentralized. You just really can't argue that it's not. Now, there's a lot of other things you can argue, but oh, wow, you guys are flying through chat. Handy Rams, welcome. We're getting a little bit of a, what's the word here? Of a fox trail, rabbit trail. The majority of farmers are in China. Actually, Thomas, if you know anything about Bitcoin right now, is that a lot of the miners aren't running unless they're for Bitcoin Cash, because it's actually not profitable for mining right now. And a lot of the miners are, okay, so you do have miners in China, but the majority of the miners, I would argue, that are not in China. So you can look at like Bitmain and stuff, but just because people own mining pools doesn't mean that they're mining themselves. Or like they are the majority of the miners, because they have people mining for them. And that's how mining works. I'm in Seattle and I wish Amazon would die. Amazon needs to be under serious regulation. Yeah, they really do. Yeah, better late than never, but it's too late. Coin Market Cap, Coin Market Book. Oh, Coin Market Book. I've never heard of them. Yeah, but monopolies aren't good. Exactly, monopolies are horrible. But think about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a monopoly. It's not a monopoly. I mean, in the world of cryptocurrency, it just happens to be the largest market cap coin, but that doesn't make it a monopoly. That's like saying because something sells more than something else, it's a monopoly. Because, and again, all these cryptocurrencies have different use cases, different blockchains, different purposes. They operate differently. So with Bitcoin essentially just being like the founder, and I guess you could say maybe it's meant for like transactions or like basic uses, basic necessities. XRP is meant for banking, and it's really made for a money transfer and banking token. And then you have things like Ethereum and EOS, which are made for smart contracts. And while those are made for smart contracts, again, you have all these things that are meant for different things. You have Litecoin and Tron, and oh man, what would be another really good example? I guess you have something like Binance token, which is like an exchange token. You have all these things that are different things. So again, they are doing different purposes. They're on different blockchains. So it's hard to say that one is a monopoly over the other because they're competing in different areas. While XRP is competing in money transfer and banking, you have Ethereum that's competing with EOS and smart contracts. And dApps, decentralized applications as well. So with those two, it's hard to say that it's a monopoly. That's like saying that the fashion world is competing against the agriculture world. They're just two different worlds. They're competing in two separate fields. So that Bitcoin really can't have a monopoly over the altcoins. Again, it's older and it's more developed, but they're competing at different aspects. So it's hard to say that they're having. It's hard to say that it's a monopoly because they're just they're not competing really against each other. I would say that they were working more so in unison than anything else. A fixed money supply trends towards a fixed economy with rampant inequality and money too valuable to spend until people to start starving to death. So that's the thing, is that's wrong. Again, yeah, that's just wrong. Gold and silver was actually the currency. Gold, silver, and precious metals are something that had a set, limited, finite supply that were in existence. And back for the thousands of years that people used gold, silver, as precious metals as currency, really up until 1971 when we were taken off the gold standard by Nixon. So in 1971, when we were taken off the gold standard by Nixon, that was really the first time in history that we didn't use precious metals and something that had a limited supply as a token. And so ever since then, and it worked for all those thousands of years. And now, starting in 1971 when we were taken off the gold standard, now we can print as much as we want, and we put ourselves into a horrible situation. So you can't say that it hasn't worked, because it's worked for the entirety of humanity and ever since then. Now, do I think that they were smart about it? No. But it worked, right? You had giant empires that ran on it. So with your argument about something that's okay, so with Bitcoin, you can spend it in any incremental fraction that you wish. It doesn't have to be, and again, do I think Bitcoin is going to be the one world economy token? No, absolutely not. Like, I think that's silly. I don't think there will ever be a point at least not in my lifetime, I don't think ever, when there will only be Bitcoins being the only form of currency throughout the entire world. I don't think that that's how it works. And if you think that's how cryptocurrency works, I would encourage you to look more into how cryptocurrency and blockchain works, because it's actually a lot more deeper than that. And it's like I said, all the altcoins are working for a lot of the altcoins are working for different purposes and for specific applications. So any Bitcoin can be split up into any fraction that you want, and I don't think it's a one end all fix. And I certainly don't think that if we were to run on Bitcoin, then everybody would not be able to spend their money, and it would cause rapid inequality and death by starvation. I think that's a little bit of a exaggeration. The whole world starves to death because Bitcoin is implemented. You are screwed. There are natural monopolies. This is true. Bitcoin has gotten to the point that it is far too valuable to spend. Again, you can spend any incremental fraction that you wish. Nobody wants to spend it. They just want to hold it. That's a lie. If you actually go to any precious metal dealer, almost every single precious metal dealer and a lot of real estate dealers are now accepting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You can also use it to fly. You can use it to eat now. And you can also, like companies like KFC and the NBA now accept the Bitcoin as well. A lot of airlines and, as I said, precious metal dealers were also accepting it. And it really depends upon where you live. So just that's another thing. Just because you live somewhere that doesn't accept it, don't believe that it's not being accepted around the world. I was somewhere the other day. I actually just purchased something the other day, and on the thing they said, "Would you want to pay in Bitcoin?" And I said no, because again, I'm not interested in paying at the moment with it. I was paying in cash because it was a small transaction. Honestly, I should have done it. It would have been a good experience, but. I was somewhere the other day, and they asked me if I wanted to pay in Bitcoin. And I used PayPal instead, so shame on me. It can't be mined for profit in the USA. That's exactly right. It can't be mined for profit anywhere right now. I don't believe so, at least. That's not good if it's decentralized. I disagree. Concentration of wealth in Bitcoin is extreme, thus not exactly decentralized. Concentration of wealth in Bitcoin. What do you mean by that? Concentration of wealth in Bitcoin is extreme? I'm not exactly sure what that means, Daniel. Rephrase that, and I'd love to answer that question. Okay, after this, we're getting right back into this TA, because I'm very, very rabbit trailed right now. BTC is being corporatized thanks to futures, but it's in the early stages, yeah. That's why you have to watch out with like backed and stuff, because you don't want to make it too corporate. BTG Big Green says, Giant. GD said, sorry I'm late. No, dude, don't worry about it. Welcome. CoinMarketBook's from their website. CoinMarketCap is a lie. Buy support tells the truth. Or oh, okay, cool. Separate ratings, investment gambles. So essentially, they're like a more legit version of CoinMarketCap. Anyway, let's go ahead and go into a weekly analysis because we. Oh no, did we do the RSI yet? Yeah. So something to highlight. There's we can talk about a couple of these things. Something to highlight in this point over here is that. Let's go ahead and spread this out just a tad bit more. Is that this was the lowest point in the history of the RSI for the Bitcoin Daily. When it wicked down over in November, this was the lowest point that it has ever been at in its history on the RSI. Man, my phone is... Sorry, guys. I got a text. This was the lowest point in the history of the RSI on Bitcoin. So when you look at this, you are acknowledging the fact that this was indeed a heavy, heavy amount. This was even greater than what we've seen in the earlier parts of 2018, as we can highlight right over in here. This was, much farther greater than that because of the point that we went all the way down to really about a 9.5 on our RSI, which again, you guys can clearly see is the lowest point that we've been at thus far. I want to go ahead and move this over to, we can do a quick one of the 3-day, but one of the ones I really want to look at is the 1-day. So with us starting out in 2018, again, up at here very clearly, very obvious because of the fact of our high, I want to highlight, I guess, just kind of this upwards trend, this upwards area, the fact that we were soaking in here. So just because that we were in this for so long, would it be impossible for this thing to flip? And just imagine flipping this into this area of having this same pattern over down here. Now, while I don't think it would be this long, you can certainly see yourself bouncing in this area, and it could certainly do this. Probably, again, probably for about a quarter as long as it did up here. So it's very possible that this bear market does extend and you see this happen. Because if this is your 3-day and this is possible, certainly I would say at least a quarter of that is possible on the flip side. On your MACD, this is where, again, things are, again, getting a little bit conflicted. How are comments doing? How are you guys doing over here? Anyways, I like your stream. I'm thumbing it up. Good job discussing things you disagree with. You are a good speaker. Yo, Thomas, no. Yeah, so that's the thing is like, Thomas, oh man, I hope he's still in here. That's the thing, Thomas. I actually encourage people to think independently and hold me accountable and, speak what they disagree with. Because what's the point if everyone just agrees with me, right? What's the point if everyone just says, I'm right about everything? And that's the thing about a community is that you speak your own thoughts. You speak your mind. You speak what you think and what you believe. And then we have discussion on it. And that's like the whole point of the community. And it wouldn't be any fun if there, if that wasn't there. So I really appreciate you coming in and challenging that. And it's also good to do that because a lot of people, as unfortunate as it is, can't answer that. So it's also good just for verification. So, but you honestly brought up some good points and it made for a beautiful discussion. So, and that's the thing is it's all about respecting that. So I really do appreciate it, Thomas, and coming in here. National currencies and monopolies, aren't they? National currency? I mean, technically, but the government says. I mean, it's like, can the government get in trouble with them? Can the government break their own laws? I guess that's like asking the same questions. Empires doesn't sound like equality. Kings, peasants, gold, sign me up. All right, guys, I am the king. You guys can call me King TCA. This is my monopoly. I'm guessing there will be many cryptocurrencies around. Yeah, so a lot of people think that there's only going to be 3 cryptocurrencies or 1 cryptocurrency. I disagree with that. I think that there could easily be 50 or more. Now, do I think eventually that there's probably always going to be thousands. I think there always are. Whether or not they're going to be popular is a separate argument. But I think that the fact that anyone can create them is the reason that they're always going to be around, right? Anyone that's not decentralized, they're going to be sitting on the blockchain. Now, they might not be worth as much as they are right now, but they're still going to be there. So your 3 days where you could potentially be seeing this, your MACD falling off. So this is where things can really start popping off over here, is that if this starts falling back down, now keep in mind your oscillators are pointing up, but your MACD looks like it's falling down. So here you actually have a little bit of confliction. And again, this is why I was saying things could really start get interesting, I guess, in this area, because of the fact that you are seeing mixed emotions. This is your, what even is? Oh wait, this is a wrong one. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, I want to highlight that. The fact that your oscillators, where is it? Your oscillators are pointing up while your MACD is ever so slightly pointing down right now. So again, we'll see. It's a very, very slow fade because of the fact that this is a 3-day. But let's look at this on our RSI real fast. Yeah, I mean, yeah, coming from an oversold territory, ideally. Now, granted, this is a 3-day chart. So, but ideally, yeah, this would keep going back up, or it might actually see probably some sort of, I don't know, probably some sort of a pullback right now. It's actually pointing upwards, so let's clear through some of these guys. But yeah, looking at this again, guys, looking at this, ideally, this is a bullish scenario for Bitcoin. Looking at this from a 3-day RSI, and once we get to the 1 week, this is what I talked about so much previously. I haven't brought this up in a long time, but the fact of the matter is that what I said when I left off is that all we needed to do was to start initiating a market reversal, was get a lower, all we had to make sure is that the MACD didn't exceed this point, and we didn't. Because what this does is it sets ourselves up on a lower swing high, or essentially a swing low that's still lower than what we were over here, and that's all we needed. Or not all we needed, but it was a significant thing that we did need in order to see some sort of a market reversal in the price action of cryptocurrency. Because again, same rule. What you're seeing over here is now, with this, you are seeing lower levels of negative momentum on a completely separate. This act, when you guys see this kind of price action on your MACD, what this does is it really kind of sets, I call this a, what's the word? I kind of made up my own name for this. I call this kind of like a dividing space. So whenever you see this action where it's like very, ever so barely going back and forth on these sides, it acts as a divider, separating the fact that, all right, now you really can't have double bullish divergence, or you can't, okay, let me rephrase that. You can't forge these as one. These really act as a dividing line. So what this does is it comes down, it ends your negative momentum on your weekly MACD chart, and then it has this kind of dividing period of saying, all right, this is going to space this out in between this area from what happened here and what happened here, and this is going to be kind of the dividing space in between. And so that's exactly what you see over here, and then this essentially says, all right, now that you have another swing low, you are going to, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. I was reading chat again. Now that you have another swing low, you are losing levels of negative momentum on a very, very significant time scale, right? The weekly chart. So again, a pretty bullish case, honestly, for Bitcoin. If you're looking at this, you're really liking it because of the fact that you're going from here to here, right? When we went down here, dividing line, another swing low, even lower, and now we're heading back down again. So if you're a long-term holder, right, I would say you're liking what you're seeing. You're looking for this market, this bear market, to slowly start coming to an end here. And that's why I do believe over the course of 2019, this bear market is going to come to an end. I think that, again, you're going to have this transitional period from this bear market to a bull market over the course of 2019 to 2020. So don't forget to look at your larger timescales. Can we look at our candle chart for a second? It's probably a little bit cluttered. But you can really see this thing clearly, right? If you were to see this on another chart, can I just get rid of everything in here? If you were to see this on another chart, you'd be like, oh wow, this doesn't look too bad, right? Because the fact that this could be a falling wedge. So, RSI, let's talk about it. Look at this. So this is a weekly chart. We pretty much hit this oversold territory of 30, and then again immediately bounced back up because we know that the what is it? The 30 and the 70 line are both where the overbought and the oversold lines transfer, and that's where they really start initiating. Anything in between is the median. So with this bouncing off this line, this is again showing that this could again potentially have some upside. This is a weekly chart. Monthly. I don't know the last time I looked at a monthly. When you're monthly, so here's the deal. Your weekly is now rounding down, right? Your weekly is rounded, but your monthly is not. Your oscillators are still pointing straight down. This is where I would say you are looking at, ideally, this is where you really want to have some eyes on it. Because once your monthly starts rounding, you know that this thing is, again, once it really starts rounding, I would say this is when you know that this market is coming to an end. This bear market is coming to an end. It has not started rounding yet, but looking at this, make sure I'm reading this right. Yeah, looking at this, I would say that sooner rather than later, you're gonna start seeing these monthly candles start to reverse. And if something crazy doesn't happen soon, the next monthly candle could be it actually as well. So looking at this, I'm not saying go ahead and buy now, because I don't want to make people have to FOMO into this, because that's not the goal. But I'm saying look at this. This is a lagging indicator, but if you start seeing this thing, this is a monthly chart. If you start seeing this round off, you know, it's again not a bad case for cryptocurrency. Same thing with your RSI. When you start seeing this round off, could be a little bit lower. It's still pretty neutral, right? It was very overbought. It's very neutral right now. Keep an eye on this stuff. So I'll tell you what, for the fun of it, let's do something. Let us throw up a fib retracement here of just like this area, right? Like right down here. So we're under, I would say, if we, kind of just throw this at the bottom over here, we are under our 786. And I don't know why. I don't have any, I should have added the rest of my fib extensions, like my my 8 points, but I don't know why I don't have one here. Regardless, let's go ahead and switch this back. Anyway, let's go back to our 4 hour. I gotta actually bump this guy up, and then I gotta read through chat. What's happening over here on Bitcoin? Jeez. Oh shoot, we're actually having some decent price movement. What, alright, so the current price of Bitcoin is $3,591, and we are actually moving a little bit here. So what I guess what I want to see is that if it's actually going to be able to break this previous candle body ever so slightly over here. Come on. Yeah, boom. And boom. So yeah, so this is what I'm looking at. Can it break this area? Can it get higher? Can it get a higher high? This is a pretty crucial point for Bitcoin. So we're going to be coming back to this. I'm going to go ahead and read through chat. I'm going to leave this chart up here. I'll actually transfer this to a 1 hour so you guys can see it a little bit better. Actually, that just makes it look worse. There's too many candles. Wait, hold up. Go back. Oh, the new candle hour just started. It's 10 o'clock. Will it start in the red? All right, what do we have over here in chat? Welcome, everybody. If you guys are new, my name is Brendan. You guys can call me Brendan, the TCA, Brendan, the crypto analyst. It's my pleasure being with you guys tonight. We just did a full-on, fledged technical analysis of Bitcoin, going all the way from the 1 hour to the 4 hour to the 1 day, the 3 day, the 1 month, or the 1 week, and then the 1 month. So we did a very, very heavy and deep technical analysis of Bitcoin, starting off again with the lower time frames being bearish, but with the larger time frames actually being really bullish. So again, looking at things like the week, the month, and potentially even like the 3 day, 1 day being a little bit more bullish. while things like the 4 hour, 1 hour are kind of bearish. So you can rewind and look at those, but I just want to make sure I explain that now so that everybody who's joining, if you're new, you guys can watch back the video and go through that full-fledged technical analysis that we did. We also did a lot of fundamental talk in there with Thomas. Bitcoins equals MySpace. I go to Mexico, I can pay pesos, USD, and probably others if they want it. Question marks equals Facebook. Yo, Slice Keeper, welcome. If you can remit your taxes in Bitcoin, you can remit your taxes. Yeah, so I saw that. You can actually pay your taxes in Bitcoin, depending upon what state you live in. You can actually do that now, which is really, really cool. Rob G, welcome. Great to have you in here. If you pay your taxes in Bitcoin, they will link accounts to who's who. Yeah. Don't let them know. Keep it decentralized, boys. I gotta get some water here. I'm sorry, guys. I got a big old jug. All right, can't judge me. I gotta stay hydrated. I do a lot of talking on this show. Rob, BTC isn't as anonymous as some people think. It's quite transparent in many ways. So yeah, it's a kind of like a mix between a privacy coin and a public coin. Some people still call it a privacy coin, but like again, I think there's higher standards to the privacy coin name now than there used to be. So like I guess you used to be able to kind of consider it, but like in comparison to some other things now, it's meh. All right. Crypto is tech stocks Crypto is tech stocks 2.0. I've actually heard that one before. Many coins will exist just like stocks. Yeah, I agree there. Especially when STOs start launching. I know the ledger is transparent, but the government would love to put faces to an address. You're very right about that. I could not agree more. Clarence, welcome. Great to have you in here. I think this is the first time I've ever seen you in here. Clarence, great to have you. He says, hey, what's up, dude? Rob, indeed, we are moving to an age of data collection by governments, companies, and political parties, etc. Randy also said, I found an interest in Mueller investigation in the U.S. Russian interference, electronic calling Russians through Bitcoin addresses. Didn't know that. Jalen said, question: should I buy BTC or wait a few more days when it dips? It's a hard question to answer. So when looking at Bitcoin and where it's at right now, again, I would say it's a conflicted area. It's a conflicted area that I am shorting. But ultimately, I can't tell people, you know, really where they should buy or anything. I can reference a quote because there's a very, very popular Otter. Welcome. There's a very, very popular quote within cryptocurrency, and so don't take this as any kind of advice, but this is just something that I've been told before, and that the best time to buy who said it? The best time to buy cryptocurrency, or I think it's the best time to buy Bitcoin was yesterday. And I know you guys were thinking, you guys are probably like, well, that's not true. And again, it's a quote. It's not meant to be taken literally, but if you're accumulating it again for like 5-10 years, then the best time to buy Bitcoin was yesterday. And it's not meant to be taken literally, because I know some of you guys are looking at this chart and saying, all right, well, if I was supposed to buy Bitcoin yesterday and this happened here, and then if you were supposed to buy it here, then the best time would have actually been to buy it tomorrow, because that would have been down here. And again, don't take it literally. It's not meant to be. It's a quote, right? But with that being said, I think that if I were to look at buying Bitcoin in this range, I personally am fine with buying cryptocurrency, more specifically Bitcoin, when it is around $3,500 or under. I'm fine in buying in this range because of the fact that I will be trading it and I will be holding it for years to come. So buying in 3,500 is it's a reasonable range for me. Again, it is reasonable for me. I hopefully will be accumulating more. But I have, yeah, it's much like Rob G just said, right? Buy orders. Dollar cost average your way through here. You know, if it goes lower, great. You can dollar cost maybe some more in. But for me personally, you know, in this area, I'm fine with buying some. I haven't yet, but I'm looking at it. So, again, I'm really looking at starting my buying process rather soon. Now, I haven't started it yet, but again, I'm fine with buying Bitcoin in this range. Maybe it does go down to 1,000, right? Maybe it does. But my bet is that by the time it gets to 1,000, hopefully I won't just dump all my money in right here, right? I would do it in increments. So hopefully by the time it got to 1,000, I would by the time that got around, if that were to happen, which I don't think it will. I don't know. 1,000 is possible, but like it's gonna be a slim chance. If you guys follow the hyperwave theory at all, according to the hyperwave theory, which is a pretty high respected one right now, Bitcoin's supposed to head to 1K, and then it's supposed to like massive rally. There's just problems that I see with it. Yo, it's cool here. Yo, thank you so much, Clarence. We talk all things cryptocurrency. It's really cool. It's a great environment. Mini double bottom on the BTC 1 hour. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a look at it. Will we get another rejection candle? Mini BTC double bottom. I see what you're saying. Like right in this little area, this little baby. Yeah, I guess you could. I guess you could say that this is a double bottom. I generally, though, I mean, yeah, so like here's like a double bottom example, like right in here. Oh, that's not it. It's like right in here, double top. Oh, is there any more examples? I don't like, yeah, there's another double bottom. Another potential double bottom. I can't really see that very well. So yeah, I guess that could potentially be a double bottom. The only problem that I have with that is that I don't really like doing double bottoms on 1 hour charts. Not like this, not like tweezer double bottoms, especially. I like doing tweezer double bottoms. There's a double top, actually, another one. I like doing tweezer double bottoms and tweezer double tops on like more larger scale charts. And this could actually be a tweezer. That one's kind of funky looking. This would actually be a tweezer double top. So if this plays out, like ideally, this would be a tweezer double top on your 1 hour. So double bottom, double top, a little bit of both. Let's get it. This is a really, I don't know if we can call this a double bottom. That's a really weird looking thing. We can definitely call this a tweezer double top, or like at least a double top. I don't think we can call that a double bottom. It's a little funky looking. Rice equals price. Lol, rice too. No double top, not double bottom. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So if you're saying, sorry, if you're saying that this is a double top instead of a double bottom, absolutely. This would ideally this would be a very, very perfect double top. Sign of rejection and something very bearish. However, it's on the 1 hour, and on the 1 hour I don't like to count really double tops nearly as much. I don't like to respect them as much as I do on other formations, especially like 4 hours and 1 days. When I see double bottoms and double tops on those on these charts, that's when I really respect them. Regardless, we might have a double top on our 4 hour as well. What do you know? So if I'm looking at this, I mean, again, this is like the same thing. It's so funky looking. The other one looks way more clean, but if we can adjust this guy, move him over. So, yeah, I guess this could technically be a double top. It'd be such a weird one. But nonetheless, you know, if this gets rejected up here, then double rejection would almost certainly indicate that this could be leading towards the downside. Yeah. Alright, now let's remove this guy. Have you guys ever caught an early pump and dump and cashed out from it just reading TA? I don't know. To answer your question, okay, so yes, I have. But the problem with it is that you can't really determine when to enter and exit from pump and dumps, but not just based upon TA. And the thing with pump and dumps, Jalen, is that they are done and over with in minutes. Generally, pump and dump groups, when they existed in their prime, I really don't follow them anymore. I never followed them, but when I read about them and I had friends in them and etc. and learned how they worked, they would be done in minutes. They would essentially, and you'd have tiers. So you'd have people, they would say everyone's told the same time, but the people who paid more would get an earlier notification essentially. So when these happen, pump and dump groups, they're like one and done in like minutes or like maybe an hour at max. So like just as fast as they go up, they drop back down. So someone was talking about Apollo and whether we can talk about this actually right now, because someone was actually talking about Apollo. And if Apollo was part of a pump and dump group, let's talk about this. Wow, it's really bright. So was Apollo part of a pump and dump group, or was this just because of the something crazy that happened? Was this artificial? Because if you look at this, like look at their all-time chart, like out of absolutely nowhere. I think someone said that they were up like 400% or something. So they went from 0.0004 all the way up to 0.003. So that's 10 times. So they were up 1,000%. They were 10 times what they were worth, essentially. So what makes something 10x in like a month, right? Especially right here. It just went full parabolic. Personally, I think that there was something going on behind the scenes. That's just not how things work. If you want to look at something that's like more legit, go look at like Tron. That's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and we'll look at Tron as compared to Apollo, and we'll compare them. Let me get some water here. Choking on my water, guys. Excuse me. All right. Choking a little bit. Getting back into it. So with Apollo pumping essentially 1,000%, is it legit or is it artificial? Ooh, that really got me. My voice is definitely froggy now. Let's take a look at TRX over here. There we go. Let's look at TRX to the USD as well. So with TRX actually, doing really good, especially as of recently. When things go parabolic, this is what it looks like. When things go parabolic like this, and XRP and some stuff have done similar deals. But when you see something go like this, and then like this, it's almost always going to be a pump and dump or something manipulated or inside source or something was planned. It generally saying it was artificial. This is how things, ideally should work, right? They had really good news to come out of this as well. So they ran up, they retraced, right? They consolidated in this area. They ran back up, they came back down, they bounced, which is important. They actually bounced, unlike other things. Came back up, consolidated. So with things that don't follow this, again, you usually see them go up here, go straight parabolic, and then come straight back down, and then maybe consolidate over here. That's really not how parabolic runs are supposed to go. This is, again, ideally, it comes up, it retraces. It's never going to just, it's never just going to run up and then just consolidate and then just go up and consolidate and then go up and consolidate. That's, in a perfect world, right? But not here. It comes up, it falls back down, it retraces, then it consolidates, and then it goes up and then retraces, bounce, consolidate, and it's the same pattern. Pump and dump groups are not that at all. They just go up. They say, all right, guys, the time is now. Everyone buys. Then they say, all right, guys, it's time to sell. Everyone dump your bags. Let's get some FUD. Let's hopefully get people to FOMO into like selling and whatever else. And then this thing just hard crashes. So that's how I personally distinguish the two. Because this has layers. Pump and dump groups don't. They're a one movement. They're really just like one movement. Another example of this would be like XVG. Way back over here, there was an artificial pump on XVG. Jeez, my voice. There's an artificial dump. Oh, let's delete this guy. There's an artificial. Wow, we have such old charts. These are back from like February. Let's get rid of these guys. So these guys were artificial. Actually, I think John McAfee was tweeting out and sponsoring one of these. Like they paid for a sponsored ad. He was advertising one of these, and then it pumped all the way up here. Again, one and done. This is a daily. Let's go to the 4 hour. And that's exactly what you see over here, right? Is you see these pumps and dumps. That's exactly what they are. They come up here. He advertises it. It goes straight up and goes straight back down, exactly to where it was, right? The bounce consolidate. Nope, none of that. Then someone else advertises it again. It bounces and comes straight back down to where it was. Those are artificial pumps. So when looking at Verge and some of this stuff, like again, this is a significantly more mainstream coin than Apollo. But it's crucial to be able to understand an artificial pump versus a real actual run and parabolic movement in a bull run. Now, it's not always going to be right like that, because I guess you could, technically have artificial, real runs happen like that. It's possible, but I would say it's far more probable that when you see just straight up and downs, it's artificial. It was made and caused by an outside source. That was not the natural course of the coin and the market makers that were buying and selling it. Gotta stretch here a little bit. Keeping a close eye on Bitcoin. Really not moving too much right now either. Just having a hard time. What are you guys saying in chat? Oh, wow. I missed a lot of chat. Thoughts on Haven? Did they exit scam? I don't know anything about Haven. I'm sorry, Otter. No, they didn't exit scam. The dev made an announcement. Okay, thank you, Rob. Randy Schultz, I played the Bitcoin Cash takeover attempt in on BTC and broke even. Had a 30-second window to make 3K and couldn't get it. No worries, man. It's always more opportunities, right? I wouldn't touch it today. Pump and dumps are scams. Completely agree. Apple is sketchy. I agree. Especially after the stuff it just did. But, I mean, if you made money during it, you made money, right? As long as you exited. Yeah, no, I do agree, though. Pump and dump things are scams. I would never participate in one, let alone people pay. Let alone, I don't want to laugh at it, but, like, people pay to be a part of it. And then they get wrecked. Like, I mean, some of them don't. Some of them make money. Maybe. But, like, why? Like, what happens if you get left behind? Right? Where's the Apollo chart? Like, what happens? What happens if, like... You go up here and they're like, all right, guys, we're gonna pump it one more time, and then it just falls, right? And they just screw people over here. And you get into this point and it's like retracing, and they're like, all right, guys, we're gonna pump it one more time. You're like, all right, I'll hold it, and then it just dumps off the cliff, and then you're like, well, I'm screwed because I just lost like the entirety of my value. And that happens to like a lot of people. It's the wrong place. That's my live stream, so I can read chat. Are you a Pepsi or Coke fan? What would be the sponsored drink of choice for TCA? I really don't drink soda. I know that's like the lamest answer ever, but I don't really drink soda. The only thing I drink really is water. That's why I have just jugs of water. I love water. I work out and I try to keep myself pretty healthy, so I drink a lot of water. Occasionally I'll do like smoothies or juice or something like that, and I'll have some alcohol. That's not healthy. It's really contradictory what I said, but I would say water is the sponsored drink of choice for this show. You know, 9 times out of 10, you guys are going to see me be just drinking a jug of water all the time. I'm looking for Mimblewimble projects for privacy. I've been hearing so much about Mimblewimble recently. And not in a bad way. I don't think in a bad way. Like, they're always in the news. That's really, really good. Much like XRP. If they're always in the news, then they're going to be good. Because of the fact that they're just getting so much attention. And it's not negative attention, from what I've seen. Rob G, all good. Pump and dump, then go straight down. Official PNB for Chainlink. Oh, okay. Thanks for answering my questions. Absolutely, yeah, Jalen, dude, if you have any questions, do not be afraid to ask. I encourage everybody to just ask away. That's what this is for. Bitcoin is not budging. How do you feel about certain cryptos paying you decent amounts to stake? I'm fine with it, honestly. I'm fine with proof of stake. I could see it being a potential problem. I mean, nah, I'm fine with it, to be honest. I'm fine with proof of stake. The yield on stake is really low. So, I mean, I guess if you own a ton of them, but like even then, it's very low. The yield on stake. So, I have an unhealthy lifestyle. YOLO. Dude, I would encourage you guys. There's a video. And I'm not sponsored. Oh, we actually moved on Bitcoin. We moved down $5. All right, boys, all in. Get ready. I'm about to just 10x everything. Oh, sorry. Do you think Ethereum is moving the same way as BTC? Oh my God. Okay, I'm actually glad you asked this because I forgot to go into Ethereum, and I wanted to cover this so bad. And I'll get back into the question I was answering. So, with this Head and Shoulders, can we count this anymore? I would say throw this thing out the window because, I mean, I don't really see it as viable anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see this as viable anymore. Maybe if we want to, like, really screw this thing up, then we could really distort this right shoulder. So then we got, like, a midget right shoulder that's, like, deformed because we'd have to do something like this. And that'd be like the weirdest shoulder ever. And then you have your left shoulder that's potentially like twice the size of your right shoulder. Yeah, no. Throw this thing out the window. We can get rid of this diamond form too. Let's talk about this. So, is Ethereum actually going to go an opposite way of Bitcoin right here? Personally, my answer to this is I hope it does, but I don't think it will. The markets, I mean, it could happen. It's happened before. And it can certainly happen again, but in this area, I think that Ethereum is going to follow Bitcoin. But I'm a little bit biased. I'm a little bit biased here because I'm shorting Ethereum at the moment, so we'll see how that plays out. And what was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought. Yeah. Anyway, I'm keeping a close eye on Ethereum. Definitely had some sort of potential to short. Looks like it's falling away. Any kind of shorting potential that it had, but I don't know. I'll be keeping a close eye on it. What was I saying? I had a really good thought I was going to say. Is it moving the same way as BTC? My answer would be yes. As of right now. As of right now, it is. Nolus and Neblio offer high stake rewards. Yeah, dude, Neblio is a project I've actually featured on this channel. I didn't get paid for it. I just did like a I think the video was called Neblio Explained. And I went through their website and he explained like a lot of their fundamentals back in like spring. And it was really cool. What are your upside targets versus your downside targets? I have an exposed short term that I can't decide on if I should close. Charts are so bearish. Also, what worries me. So for Bitcoin, Mr. BTC buyer, first of all, welcome. So I actually have Mr. BTC buyer. That's actually really what I cover on my Patreon. I cover a lot of like my short, like all my targets to the upsides, as well as all my targets to the downsides. That's probably something I cover on my Patreon because it's very time consuming. And yeah, so I mean, I'll cover it in general, like right here a little bit, but like that's something I kind of try to save for my Patreon and respect the people who are in there. But I would say, of course, downside targets in this area would of course be previous lows and previous areas of heavy consolidation. Upside targets would be your EMAs, which we're currently testing right now. Former support that's now getting used as resistance. Areas of consolidation, so EMA, and then again previous resistance and supports and previous highs would be another area for me. So in this area, it's kind of a, you know, it could kind of go either way right here. We're really watching as to whether this wants to be bullish or bearish really right now. It's kind of decision time. And something I actually forgot to mention in the video earlier today, Randy Schultz. Thanks for, yo, thank you so much, Randy. It means a lot. Thank you for being in here. Great to have you, dude. Something I forgot to mention in the video today is that this thing could actually creep up a little bit more before it has a downside. And it's very possible that I think this thing actually does creep up more before it could have some downside right here, right? It could just get rejected. But I think what you could have is some sort of like a bull trap happen. And I think that that's actually really possible at this point, which is almost why I want to exit my short and re-enter it higher. But I think that regardless, I think that this is going to come down eventually, and it's either a matter of fact of whether it's going to happen here or like up in here. Because this thing certainly could come up and then come more down. But for the short term being, I'm shorting, and if this doesn't hold, then I exit I exit the short, minimal loss, and I decide what I want to do next from there. Howard Lee says, any thoughts on Bitcoin Cash? Yes, I have a lot of thoughts on Bitcoin Cash, Howard. I'm glad you asked. So my personal thoughts on Bitcoin Cash is that wow, I missed a lot of comments. All right, so I'm going to answer your question in 1 second, Howard. Weaker and weaker pumps on BTC just resonates when we were at 6K. If BTC already bottomed or will bottom in the next few months, the risk versus reward is not yet there, or is not there yet. But that's just me. Yo, good thoughts at awesome. Hassam, welcome in here. Good thoughts at Hassam. By the way, if you guys are, so a couple of you guys joined the Tier 2 Patreon, the one that's every 2 weeks you guys vote on the video topics. If you guys are a part of that, I meant to mention this in the last live stream. The votes for that happens on the 15th and the 30th of every month. I said it and it's out there. So if you guys are a Tier 2 Patreon, then the votes for what videos I make happen on the 15th and the 30th of every month, and that will happen on Patreon. That was an announcement I forgot to make. Right shoulder is too low. I agree, Mr. Rob G. That's why we threw it out the window. What does shorting mean? Shorting means that you are betting that it's going to go down. So if we are shorting this area, so you gain, think of it this way, right? If you buy, you're essentially holding it and hoping that it goes up. And if it goes up can't speak. If you buy the token in this range, you are in a form longing it because you are betting that it's going to go up. And if it goes up, you gain money. Shorting is the opposite. If you buy, you're betting that it's going to go down. So instead of gaining value when it goes up, you gain value when the token goes down. So I can essentially say if I'm shorting here, I will be gaining money the more that this goes down. And then on top of this, you can add leverage. So what this does is it allows you to gain money faster, but also lose money faster. So if I'm using 5 times leverage on a short, what I'm doing is I'm saying, all right, I will be gaining money 5 times faster the more this goes down. But I will also be losing money 5 times faster if this goes up. if this goes the opposite way of where I'm saying it's either going to go up or down, then I will either gain or lose money 5 times faster. And you can do leverage all the way from 1 to 100 on things like BitMEX and DairyBit and some of these other guys. So that's what long shorting and leveraging is. No worries, I really appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed it, Mr. BTC buyer. Emilio Taylor says, where are you shorting Bitcoin? US trader asking. I can't get into BitMEX. So there are other leveraging options, but not that I would ever do it. You can trade on BitMEX as a US trade. Well, you can't, but you physically can if you get a VPN and you sign up and you use a decent VPN. You can physically. Now, I would never tell you that you should or would or anything like that. All I'm saying is it's possible. It's definitely possible. And if you were to get caught, which I definitely don't have experience getting caught, they give you, from what I've heard, they give you 7 days to move your funds. And if they catch you, then from what I've heard, they give you 7 days and they say, all right, you have 7 days to move your funds. And if you don't move it by the 7 days, then they take it all. But I just missed something. I definitely just missed something. What were we saying? Same here. I was thinking that there would be a retrace, but there are so many sellers up there at BTC just waiting for a random up or down candle. Yeah, and so that's the thing. Is like everyone's trolling in here because they want it to be a BART, or like everyone's like, oh, it's BART. It's BART City, which it is. And not that you guys are trolling, but like it's annoying the fact that BARTs are such a reality right now, and it's stupid that it's even a formation pattern, and that people are actually talking about it. But it's so true because all we have is this like parabolic move, sideways movement, parabolic move, the opposite direction, sideways movement, parabolic move, right? Super hard. Thank you so much for the sub. Someone else subbed too a second ago. I appreciate it. I'll go through all the subs in a sec. I'll pull it up in a second. Superheart says hello from Dubai. Yo, welcome Superheart. Welcome from Dubai, dude. Great to have you in here. I know you guys are having some hard times with cryptocurrency over there. So best of wishes. As long as the VPN does not change IP. So, someone, definitely not myself, was on a VPN yesterday, more specifically last night, and a certain person accidentally switched their VPN, and in the split second that the VPNs switched, when one went offline and one went online, their account got banned. Certain person, no idea who they are. But, moral of the story, don't switch VPNs while you're on BitMEX because they will find out. And, yeah, that person was not happy waking up. But that person also has 7 days to move their funds, so it doesn't matter. So they are all right. Superheart says, at the crypto analyst, oh gosh. All right. Oh gosh, what is happening in here? A $1 trillion Bitcoin proof of purchase on our channel. I don't understand what you mean by a $1 billion Bitcoin proof of purchase. Like someone bought a Bitcoin, someone paid that much for a Bitcoin, or like trading that much? Like what do you mean? Super hard. 333 Bitcoin every 3 minutes. Initiating the 2019 bull run. I'm confused as to what you mean, but I mean that sounds awesome. So I'd love to know more. GD BTC buyer says, GD, watch the leverage for the exchanges with huge manipulation. They try to margin liquidate. Yeah, definitely some manipulation in there. Have you seen Kraken Wicks for January 1st, 4000? I have not. I don't like Kraken. God, I don't even know if I want to look at it. I don't like Kraken. You didn't finish your thought about Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum. You're right. You're right. All right, so let's finish our thoughts on Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum. Thank you, BTC Buyer. Yeah, absolutely. So with Bitcoin Cash, I do not like it. I don't like Bitcoin Cash, and I don't like Bitcoin Cash SV, whatever you want to call it. I don't like either of them. I don't like forks in general. And I really don't. And I'm sorry if you like Bitcoin Cash. I'm not trying to dump on you specifically. This is more of my dislike of Roger Ver and the Bitcoin SV dude. But what was his name? Bitcoin SV lead developer. Leader. The first article I pull up, Bitcoin SV and their cult leader. What's his name? Roger Ver and who? Satoshi's Vision. I think it's funny that they called it Satoshi's Vision when it's really so far. It is literally so far from Satoshi's Vision. It pisses me off that he would call it that. Sorry if you guys are Bitcoin SV holders, but it's nothing close to Satoshi's Vision. What's his name? Roger Ver versus Craig White. That's his name. Craig White. So, oh yeah, you guys, wow, you guys beat me way freaking to it in the chat. What'd you say, Superheart? Ground floors of Litecoin for speed, scalability. Nice, dude. So I really, okay, so the problem with Bitcoin Cash, let me zoom in here so you guys can actually see this moving while we're talking. So the problem with Bitcoin Cash is I don't like forks in general. I don't like forks, period. They have done a lot of harm to the community, in my opinion, and they are more a struggle for centralization than anything else. Specifically with Bitcoin Cash, I don't like it because I don't like Roger Ver, and I really don't like Craig White either. And with Roger Ver, he is such a manipulator, and he tries to centralize a decentralized cryptocurrency. So the fact of the matter is that with him, he branched Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash, and he calls it Bitcoin. He calls Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin, and he calls Bitcoin Bitcoin Core. And it throws a lot of people off. Also, he can essentially be saying that he is the lead developer of Bitcoin, and he says that. And then he says, but there's also Bitcoin Core, which in his words is Bitcoin, you know, the one that we all know. So he, in doing this, he centralizes Bitcoin, and that does so much harm for it. And he's a very, very bad with people. He's very bad with people. And he has picked fights with numerous cryptocurrency YouTubers, news channels, like technical analysis people, like he just picks a fight with everyone. Like, I don't remember if I don't know if you guys know, but there was, you know, beef with him and Doug Polk. Like anyone in crypto, the comedians, the technical analysts, the fundamental guys, news stations. Like, he just picks fights with everyone. He's very, very sensitive, and because of his actions directly have an influence upon the price of Bitcoin Cash as him as like the leader of it. So if he were to, you can't say if he were to leave Bitcoin Cash, or if he were to say something negative about Bitcoin Cash, the price would be directly influenced and affected. And that is what makes it centralized, because someone can't do that about Bitcoin because we don't know who they are. So by making himself the lead developer and making himself the face of Bitcoin Cash, it directly makes it more centralized. And that's why I don't like it. And now you have Craig White branching Bitcoin Cash into Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, and it's a fork turns into one fork, and that fork turns into 3 forks, and that one turns into 5 forks, and then it just gets into a pain, because here we are down the road, and none of these exchanges can support forks and stuff anymore. What's happening in chat? Jeez, super hard. Super hard. It's going ham. He's crazy and I love it, says Otter. He is. I agree with you. He's crazy. I don't like either of them. I'm very, very harsh. I don't like forks. I don't like Ethereum Classic. I don't like Bitcoin Diamond or Gold or any of them. I don't like forks, period. And I'm sorry if that's harsh. All right. And okay, and so I'm not just saying this. All right. What is Superheart saying? Everything on Binance will 100,000x by 2020. All right, that's not true. Well, it's very probable that you're not true. Statistically. I promise your money back. All right. You can't say things like that, Superheart. And please don't spam the chat either, because why would you shill Binance? That doesn't make any sense. I would understand if you're like shilling your own exchange, but like, I am Binance. All right, don't chill anything in chat, Superheart, or else we'll have to mute you. Analysis on XRP and Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum it is. Yeah, let's do it. I forgot I never did my analysis of Ethereum, so that's why I don't like forks. And so my final thought about the faces is that the same problem happened with Charlie Lee and Litecoin, Ricardo and Monero, and there's someone else. But Ricardo started stepping more away from Monero and being like very much influential and acting as like the face of it, because of the fact that he realized, and Charlie Lee said in this exact same thing, and this is where I get this idea from, because I respect Charlie Lee. He said, in order for Litecoin to be more decentralized, I can't be with it. Because when people think of Litecoin, I come to their mind. And when people read my tweets, Litecoin comes to their mind. And our names are directly correlated. So where to the point of, if I were to leave Litecoin, or if I were to stop working on it or say something bad about it, I could effectively drive the price of Litecoin up and down, and I can influence that. And that makes it more centralized. So if I wanted to make Litecoin more decentralized, I would have to step out of the picture so that I would be one less barrier to making this a decentralized platform. And it's very truth. But anyway, moving into and Ricardo of Monero was saying like the same thing, I believe. So, and this was way back. But looking into Ethereum right now. So obviously, level of support over in this area. Looking at this, I see this as kind of like a parallel channel of sorts. Over here, falling down, you have 1. Now you can count this as 2. Now 3. Breaking out, which would have been 4 touches on resistance, and you actually have now 1, 2, 3 touches on support. With this breaking down, I saw this as a potential shorting opportunity because of the fact that this was a falling channel and this was at resistance, having a little bit of a hard time. So I said, all right, hey, let's take the risk. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. You have your 50 EMA right above here. And so I'm taking the risk on the short. I'm not stopped out yet, as you guys can clearly see. But, you know, it's fairly close. So we'll see as to whether or not I do get stopped out. Maybe I do. Again, it was a relatively low leverage short. So... And again, I didn't enter at the bottom of this, or else I would certainly be stopped out by now. Whew. But, yeah, so I saw the opportunity, and the risk versus reward was worth it to me. And, you know, if I get stopped out, like, you know, really not that much is lost. Where I think it's going to go right now, I'm still bearish on Ethereum. I am a little bit more bullish on it, to be honest, now that the fact... Is this a 4-hour candle that's about to close? It is. So I'm a little bit more bearish on it now, the fact that it has... My God, what is happening? God already plus... Jalen says, best advice for beginners on trading crypto? Oh, man. Dang, that's like a straight Patreon question. That's like I would say if I could give you like one advice about starting and trading crypto, I'll tell you this. Don't FOMO. Do not FOMO. Find support and resistance, and the trend is your friend. If those are the most basics of concepts, if you're trading crypto, look for supports and resistances. The trend is your friend. Don't FOMO. Don't listen to FUD. Look at things objectively. And always seek a second, maybe not always, but like, don't be afraid to look at other opinions that aren't your own. And look at conflicting opinions. Like, look at outside sources that aren't your own. That, and find, like, dude, just find a mentor. If not me, I'm not saying it has to be me at all, but I would say if not me, then like someone. Find someone that you can look up to and learn this stuff from. I had a very lucky opportunity to have mentors for free, which again, now you have to pay for like courses and other stuff now. And I do this as a basic level. And again, I'm still creating the TA course. I made one episode, but we have like 11 more to go, or I have to make 11 more. So once that's up, hopefully that'll be like a one and done for people. That's the goal of that. When it comes out, is to just be a one and done. And people who just don't know how to trade cryptocurrency, hopefully can just come in that and just be like, wow, like coming out of it, they're like, I feel somewhat, confident. So that's going to be the goal of it. I'm really hyped on making that. I need to make more episodes. I would say, yeah, I would say that, don't start trading with like large increments of money. Look at supports and resistances. Don't FOMO. And experiment. Honestly, experiment. Just watch and learn a lot of TA. Correlate FA to TA. And you really just start learning this stuff. But those are like the building blocks. I would say, Jalen, those are the building blocks for cryptocurrency. And there's obviously so much more. But like foundationals, start with those. Forks are not sustainable. Bitcoin private. I don't do any forks. I am BitConnect. I am Mt. Gox. God, what is happening in this chat? We have Binance, we have BitConnect, we have Mt. Gox. Do you guys know that, what's his name? What's that BitConnect guy? Trevon James follows me. I wonder if he's in here. That'd be awkward. Bless his heart. What if this guy is serious and really Binance? That would be wild. Yo, if you are, what's his name? Chao Pei Zhang, the CEO of Binance, you want to come and do a talk show on YouTube with me? Because I'd love to have you on my show. God already bless you today. Keep passing it on. See you when you're all billionaires. Be smart, and then help the world, or be your worst nightmare. I'm not sure that's what CZ would say. CZ doesn't say stuff. He's a very chill dude. Google us. Not on stream. Don't get wrecked. That's my advice. Yes, that's good. That's good advice. I'll make it. Thank God. Trend confirmation. Oh, so yeah, BTC buyer says trend confirmations. Jeez. Trend confirmation buys. No FOMO. Minimum fees. And again, minimum fees. Fees out the door. Basically, do all your trading from Coinbase. No, don't. Maybe Coinbase Pro. Coinbase Pro is actually pretty good for trading now. Watch me take. God, who is this guy? Carlos Matos. Pump. All right, you're saying pump. It'd be really nice if you just dump Ethereum. BTC just dropped $2, mate. It's reverse psychology. So yes, no, for Ethereum here, I would say I don't know. I mean, it definitely broke out of this. But the thing that I was noticing on Ethereum, actually, so if we draw this, yeah. So it definitely got out of this guy. However, this, and so again, whether or not you want to include this wick, what just happened to my screen? Whether or not you want to include this wick, doesn't really matter. If you want to cut off this wick over here and count this as a piercing candle, much like Bitcoin, then you can include these guys over here. But for the most part, regardless, I would say that you still have resistance in this area. Now we got to connect these guys. You still have resistance in this area, and so I might need to change this color so that we can see it slightly better. It's the same deal. Rip. What can we change this to that we can actually see? Yellow? No. Guys, what color do I change this to? White? Here, let's just do it to white. You can't miss it then. So if we do this here, I don't think that helped either. So if we're doing this here and we're looking at this again, 1 touch point, 2 touch points, maybe looking for a 3rd touch point and then rejection. Maybe this is actually... So could we call this a... So I guess the question that some people's asking is, could we call this a falling wedge? Right? Maybe. It's possible. It certainly is with these wicks over here. Or, you know, maybe even if you move this up. Falling wedge here, falling wedge here. So, you know, it's certainly possible in this area. The only problem I would have with this is that... Oh, no, that can't be a falling wedge. That can't be... No, okay, so scratch that. Because then you would have to have something like this. Oh, shoot. So if this was it, then you could have... So the point I'm trying to make in this area is that Ethereum is not out of it yet. Some people are saying Ethereum's already out, it's already broken out, and the point that I'm trying to make in this area by drawing all these lines is that it's not out of the park yet. It's not home free in this area, and I would avoid seeing it as that because you still definitely have overbearing resistance. And there's a couple of them that you can look at. But again, there are a lot of supports that you can look at as well. The thing that has me curious as, can we count this as a descending triangle? That's one of the questions that I'm asking myself in this area. So if we just want to count this whole area, and kind of just move this guy up, let's count it as the white line. I don't like using white. I feel like it's hard to see. Is it hard to see for you guys? It would be nice to flash crash and all of a sudden 2K. Alright. 3,600. Why are you saying 333 Bitcoin filled? What does that even mean? You've said that like 5 times in here. 3,600 in 3, 2, 1. We have moved up since you last said that. Do you think Ethereum is over now because of the ICO bubble? So personally, I think EOS is a better version of Ethereum, and that's why I hold I hold both. But I kind of want to get out of my Ethereum. I kind of want to trade my Ethereum for EOS. I don't think Ethereum's like dead, but I just see EOS as a better version of Ethereum, personally. There's better smart contract platforms and blockchains and cryptocurrencies now than Ethereum, and I think that they're slowly going to start rising. Especially in this next bull run, you'll really start seeing the ones that are being used a lot. Like, you know, even as much silly as it sounds, Tron has been making big leeway. And I think Tron and EOS and some of these other ones could potentially make big market moves in the next bull run because of the fact that they're going to be getting used a lot. Wasn't Cardano one of them? I might be really far off there, but I think Cardano was another one that was. They were getting used a lot. Their smart contracts were. Our channel, okay. Super chat or super heart. You cannot. I shouldn't even have to say this. Super heart. You cannot advertise your own channel. You can't advertise your own anything in someone else's channel. Period. You can't advertise yourself. Did the internet crash because of the .com bubble? Did the internet crash because of the .com bubble? I'm not. Is that supposed to be like a literal question, or is that like a mind-blowing one? Like the entirety of the internet crashed because. Sorry, he called me a liar. Who called you a liar? Why white racist? Jeez. Am I also racist because it's a black background? It's a lose-lose. Sorry, he called me a liar. I never lie. In response to Ethereum ICO bubble. Okay, so honestly, you could kind of see that as similar. Yeah, I guess you could kind of correlate the two. I would say that they're kind of different though, because of the fact that there are a lot of other smart contract platforms out there. Ethereum did host a lot of them, but they didn't have the most activity. There was a number crunch, and it did. This is like a while back. There was a number crunch, and they did the most active smart contracts and dApps in real world use actually getting used today. And Ethereum, I don't think was number one, or maybe they were, but like I don't think they are anymore. Is what I'm trying to say, as they're being overcome by some of these smaller blockchains just because they're better. And people are like, they would rather not use a larger blockchain that's worse than use a smaller blockchain that's better, right? They would rather use something that's just sheerly better. However, this comes into question when you have Amazon announcing that they are going to do the Amazon managed blockchain service on the Ethereum blockchain. And that's huge because it's Amazon. So I would say not yet. The fact that Amazon's investing into Ethereum blockchain is like they could just keep Ethereum alive themselves. Let's go ahead and move on over here. Yo, what is Superhard saying over here? Lol, good win, man. Good soul. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this or hide this, or I really don't know what I'm supposed to do here. All right, here. I don't know if okay, here. We'll show it, dude. It's one of the weirdest comments I've ever had. So, yo, Skyward1, great to have you in here. Welcome, dude. It's been a while. Great to have you back. Actually, it hasn't been that long. It really hasn't been that long. Ethereum will adapt. I think it's possible that we have bottomed out. Yeah, so it's possible, Handy, and that's what we're kind of looking at. And so when we're looking at this for Ethereum, you're kind of looking into this range as if it's either a falling wedge or if it's a descending triangle. So as of for the moment, I'm still kind of bearish on Ethereum. It's slowly turning me, but because of everything that we just said, there's plenty of room for Ethereum to move. But I think Bitcoin is what we really should be watching at this point. I mean, you can really, I think both of them are equally as important, but I think ultimately in this situation with these two both looking so similar, at least in their candle body charts, that you have to recognize that, and because they look both so similar, Bitcoin's going to be the dominant player here. I need some more water. Jeez. Good to see you still doing it, man. Yeah, dude, I'm glad that. So for the longest time, Skyward, we were not able to do live streams because I got temporarily banned. I got temporarily banned, and it put us a little bit behind, but we're back now. We're back and far stronger than ever. But what I was saying about the price action. Okay, so since Ethereum and Bitcoin are both in the same situation, they both essentially have the same candle body chart over here. We're looking at Bitcoin rather than looking at Ethereum because of the fact that Ethereum is going to be following Bitcoin in this situation. So we're going to be looking at Bitcoin. So again, since they both have the same situation, we're going to be looking at the bigger brother here rather than the little brother. Right? It's like going into a fight and going in for the main event, right? If there's going to be two of the same fight class in an event, people are going to be watching the one that is the main event rather than, or the more popular one rather than the same fight class, the same weight class that is essentially just like nobody's. And that's essentially what it's over here. We're watching the bigger brother rather than watching Ethereum, because ultimately what happens on this candle chart is going to affect what happens on the Ethereum candle chart. Now, earlier in the week, you had Ethereum actually as working as the market maker, and you had Bitcoin following Ethereum earlier this week. And that has happened before. Again, it's rare, but it happens. And that was something that was happening, especially on the way up over here, is you actually had Ethereum leading the charge and Bitcoin following it. And XRP even more rarely will do that, but it's possible. But now you're transitioning in this area back over to a point where Bitcoin is leading Ethereum. And so with us getting this 4-hour candle body closings over here and what seemingly is in the red right now, again, no volume, no price action movement on it yet. It's it's 5 minutes old. Seemingly, if this turns out to be a rejection candle, it would be pretty bearish for Bitcoin. I think that the thing over here that, again, is so significant for me is the fact that you really have this solid support line over in this area. And that's the thing that I want to highlight, at least from a support area, because this wick down is what really let us know the information for Bitcoin. This wick really showed us that, hey, this is a serious support. Now that it has 3 to 4 candle body touchings, counting, whether or not you count this guy over here, 4 if you count him, 3 if you don't. This is showing us, all right, this is actually a support, because now that you have 3 confirmed touches, maybe even 4, depending upon how you draw this, this is definitely going to be used as a support line now. So this is, again, why all eyes are in this area, looking as to what's going to happen. Is this going to break out or is this going to break down? It's becoming decision time. It's getting squeezed, and we'll find out, because now that it's above the 618 fib retracement, you're getting squeezed between your 50 EMA, former support being used as resistance, new resistance that it has formed, and your 618. So you're really just getting squeezed in from all these different angles, and that's what makes this such a difficult area. ADA seems like it's a good project. Not sure how much follow through it will get. Seems Charles only creates ADA out of spite for Ethereum. I'll tell you what, dude. He has the lead developer, whatever you want to call him, of Cardano, has a mouth on him, and it's gonna hurt him, and it has hurt him. He's too busy with smack talk. But I hold Cardano, so I mean, at the end of the day. Dude, we've been going for so long, guys. This is a long freaking live stream. So I'll probably go ahead and round this up soon. Ethereum will be down for a while till they deal with their fork and double entry issue. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm shorting Ethereum right now, so I mean, if it wants to go down, then by all means. You guys don't know about flowchart pattern. TMB fun. Then Encash. Super hard. I can't make out what you're saying, dude. King Bitcoin and Mr. Buterin. Jalen, you sound like you watch Crown. Is that true? I was going to say, as soon as you said King Bitcoin and Mr. Buterin, I don't know if you watch Crown, but yo, Nature, thank you so much for the sub. It means a lot, man. Welcome. But as soon as you said that, all I could think about is Crown, because Crown, he has the funniest names. All you have to do is say that a chart's a dildo, and immediately I'm like, all right, you're from Crown. I love Crown, dude. If you guys don't know, me and Crown work together. He's a great guy. Me and Crown worked together for a while, and we're still friends. I need to, he's larger than me now. When I met him, I was double his size, and now he's like twice my size, so dude, he's blowing up. It's good for him. I'm so hyped for him. I need to shoot him a message sometime. Would you guys want a collaboration between me and Crown? I think it'd be so interesting. It would probably be a little bit too much fun. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely, Jalen. Yeah, what the hell? What is he saying? Does anybody know? Watch Binance. Okay, what does that even mean? The hot wallet, the Binance hot wallet, the CZ personal hot wallet, the one that he transfers money in and out of. Good night, crypto traders. I watch Crown. Yo, he is a phenomenal trader. I would say he's a better trader than I am, personally. It's humbling. But he day trades, and I don't really day trade as much. He's far more much of a day trader than I am, and I don't really do day trading. But like, even if you were to compare his day trading to like my regular trading or swing trading, I think he's just better than I am. He's phenomenal. But we have two very different styles of trading. And that's what would make such a perfect live stream. That would be so cool. I would love to. Yeah, I'll shoot him a message. I'll tell him that yeah, you guys tell him that you guys tell him too, but I'll shoot him a message on Discord because I'm pretty sure we're still friends. Yeah, we're still friends. Oh God, I think we have a Schiller. Dadgummit. While the live stream's going on, I'm getting messages from Schillers. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and yeah, I'll shoot him a message after the live stream ends, but I probably am going to go ahead and end this relatively soon because of the fact that we are over 2 hours in and we've talked about just about everything there is. So, Nature, welcome. Great to have you here. Whew. I mean, yeah, so we'll probably go ahead and round this off here. And if you guys have any questions, I'm just going to stick around for the next couple minutes, answer any questions that you guys have. But, yeah. Otherwise, in that, technical analysis for the most part is done. If you guys have questions, I will answer them. And I'll stick around for a couple minutes, but thank you guys for watching. I really have appreciated all you guys who have been active and in here. It means a lot, and until next time, right? Where are you guys from, by the way? From Australia, at Great Barrier Reef. Great job, yo. Thank you so much, Morn. Appreciate it. Much love from Australia. Literally the #1 place I want to go. Eventually, I will go to Australia. Thanks for the stream. Absolutely, Slicecreeper. Man, my voice is sore right now. I did way too much talking. And I talked way too fast. LA. How do I feel about Tony Vase? I have mixed feelings. He's an interesting guy. Do I think he's... I think he's smart. But, like... I don't know. Like... I don't want any beef. Because somehow he's going to see this. Because he's gotten in beef with like small crypto YouTubers before. And I have nothing against him because he's a smart guy. And he's helping cryptocurrency. He really is. So I got nothing to say like negative about him. I think that we don't see eye to eye on everything. But like no one does, right? That's something that makes cryptocurrency so great. Is that we're not going to see eye to eye on anything. And just because we see things differently doesn't mean that he's bad or he's always wrong, or because he definitely has things. But we definitely see things differently. But like again, great stream. Yo, thank you so much, Poker. I didn't even know you're in here, Poker. Welcome, dude. Poker Soap, the real Poker. What did I say? Poker Soap. Poker Throat, the real MVP. Jeez, Super Heart. Super Heart, the embodiment of Binance. Tony Vaves, he's like a car salesman. He's an interesting guy. He's closed-minded. A used car salesman. He's a maximalist. He never shows his trades. I mean, technically, I don't think I've ever like... Well, maybe I have shown my trades. If you guys are in the Discord, I've definitely shown my trades. Or I'm always like, I'm entering a trade here. Or like right now, I'm like, I'm shorting Ethereum. I'm very transparent. I'm transparent with everything. The amount of money that I make from YouTube. That's something I haven't done. I guess at 5,000 subscribers, I can do that whenever. What I used to do is every time I would hit like a milestone of subscribers, I would update and show like all my statistics. Because everything on this channel is transparent. Even the trades. And if you guys don't know, I'm actually going to a process right now. I'm going from, I mentioned this last time, but for the longest time I just forgot to tell people about it. I'm actually doing a trading challenge where I'm going from point zero 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 0.001 Bitcoin, I believe, to one Bitcoin. Yeah, from point. Is that right? Hold up. I might need to check. How much Bitcoin am I trading? I'm doing a challenge right now. I believe it's 0.001 Bitcoin to 1 Bitcoin. So, no wait, that doesn't sound right. Hold up, guys. We're double checking. Anyway, I'll tell you guys my progress. Let's go and pull up. The goal is once I can, hopefully, because then once I do it, I can just post the audit or the chart or the history, the trade history. That's what it is. The trade history of saying I went from 0.01 Bitcoin all the way to a Bitcoin. You don't believe me? Here's the proof. Boom. And then, because there's always people who are like, you have no idea what you're doing. And so then I was like, all right, what is the hardest challenge I can think of? What is the hardest challenge I can think of that none of the other crypto YouTubers or analysts can say that they've done, and then I can do it. And then if they don't believe me, I can literally slap the trade history in their face and be like, this is my account. Read it and weep. So that's another reason why I'm doing it, just to be like, I've done it and none of these other people can. So I actually know what I'm doing and they don't. And if you don't believe that I know what I'm doing, here's the trades to prove it. We're moving. There we go, the rejection, slightly. Honestly, it's just sideways movement at this point. If you have ever sold Bitcoin, you are a trader. Never short the corn. Well, I'm a trader then. Tone deaf face. 0.01. 1000x, that's quite a challenge. It is. That's 100x, I believe. Be like me. 136,000 Bitcoin. Jeez. Yeah, you know what? Here, screw it. Let me, let's go pull up the history. My trade is slightly, oh, it's the wrong one. My trade is slightly in the negative right now. Well, is it? It might be, I don't know. My Ethereum short? The one thing that I try not to do, though, is say where I enter trades, because then I have people that try to copy my trades. I might say where, like, what I'm entering, where I might exit, but I never say where I'm going to enter, because if I say where I'm going to enter, then people try to copy my trades, and that's really bad. Because if you try to copy my trades, you're always going to be one step behind. And then you will constantly not be receiving the same information that I am. Plus, like, I don't know, in today's world. Alright, let's pull this chart up. Yeah, so 0.01 Bitcoin. That's what we're going from. So we're going from 0.01 Bitcoin all the way to 1 Bitcoin. That's the goal here. And I'm going to do it. Well, super hurt, you were a joke. Yeah, I'm not sure how true that is, but you want me to check out your channel? Alright, let's see this thing. God knows what's about to pop up on my screen. Doesn't even... So you talk about... What? You just... Daggum. Are you just doing 8-hour live streams? Jeez, dude. Looks like you just have like a bunch of random different things. Slightly clickbait too. I am Satoshi Nakamoto, $1 trillion Bitcoin. Not clickbait. I can't talk about clickbait though. Some of my videos are cringy. Some of my titles are cringy. I want to short it. Yeah, so that's the thing is like we have who's that, Max? Yeah, so we have a tight stop loss here. So this is what I was looking at, ideally. And also there was a Head and Shoulders, we deleted it, but there was a potential Head and Shoulders in here which made me enter this short. But from this point I'm really not anywhere far from my entry. So I'll stick in this, I'll see where it plays out, and if I get stopped out, I really don't lose like anything. But if I get stopped out, then I get stopped out. Again, it's really not a big deal. But I could stay in this and we could see this. I do understand that my percentage of gain upon shorting in this area has now decreased because of the fact of where we put ourselves in this position. So it's definitely a riskier short now. Oh, we're getting movement. We're actually getting movement. Moved the whole 10 cents on Ethereum. And it stops it sideways. Yeah, no, I know what you mean though, Max. And I understand the risk, but like it's a very low leverage short. So worst case scenario, I get stopped out and I lose like a very small amount. It's moving though. I want to see this break down or break up. I just don't want it to go sideways. It's the last thing I want to see. Nate said send me 1,000 Litecoin to prove you're not joking. Don't download war. You are live on YouTube. I never lie. By shorting, how much gains can you look at receiving? So with what I usually use is 10x leverage. And 10x leverage on Ethereum right now is essentially saying I double my money every time Ethereum moves $10. So whatever I put in, if it moves $10 in my direction from my entry, I double my money. So if it goes to around $108, I double my money. If it were to break down all the way down to like a previous low down here, or like somewhere down here, like 105, then I would essentially every dollar it moves on Ethereum is 10%. And that will increase the lower it goes. So then every dollar will be like 12%. Again, the more it drops. But as of in this range, every dollar is around 10% with 10x leverage. Because that's usually what I trade off of. On 25x, on 25x leverage, it is every $3 it moves, I double my money. And on 5x, it's every $20 I move, I double my money. And every $2 it moves, I get 10%. And you guys can do them. I don't know. Those are the only three I really trade off of. So those are the only ones I know. $10x leverage, you aren't messing around. No, I don't mess around. I do not, especially when it comes to trading. Yeah, I think you heard. Yeah. So when I'm trading, this is for the Bitcoin challenge, by the way. So when I'm trading from 0.01 Bitcoin all the way to 1 Bitcoin, I'm not messing around. And what this requires is higher leverage trades, and this also requires a little bit of riskier trades, because you can't trade 3% of your capital at 0.00. You can't trade 3% of your capital at 0.01 of a Bitcoin and then just expect yourself to earn all the way up to 1 Bitcoin, right? You can't do that if you're expecting realistically in a decent amount of time to get to 1 Bitcoin. So you have to be a confident trader. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be consistent, and you also have to You have to be a little bit risky, to be frank. But again, it's a small amount of money that I'm risking because of the fact. But I have earned all the way from, I believe I went from, so I'm at, started with 0.01. I'm up to 0.0, what am I up to? 0.05 and a half, 0.055, I think. This is what I'm up to. So I'm about 5 times up. And I started it like last month. So I'm about 5 times what I started. I've never shorted with more than 3x. I've never shorted 3x. I've never shorted less than 5x. But I've never traded on BitMEX. I have never traded on BitMEX either. Ever. Ever. Because I live in the United States and I can't do that. Max leverage ever. No. Oh, okay. Have I? Yeah. I've done it before to like test it out and stuff, but like realistically for a real trade, no. I don't cross and I don't max leverage. It's just so risky because if it moves like $5, you're liquidated. I mean, Crown can do it because he's a day trader. I'm not a day trader. Like, I don't do the whole $5 deal moves trends. Like, I don't do that. I don't make trades based upon a $5 move on Bitcoin. Crown does that. That's his specialty. And he is freaking phenomenal at it. He kills it. He's like the best. Like, he is. If you want to learn day trading, I honestly believe he is the best cryptocurrency day trader on YouTube right now. I do not think that there's a better one than him at YouTube right now. Like, he is just so good at what he does. It's actually insane. He started with nothing and now he has like, it's just crazy, his story. And he shows everything on stream. Like, and that's the thing, is he's so good at what he does, he's not afraid to just pull out BitMEX. He doesn't live in the United States right now, so he can pull up BitMEX. He pulls up BitMEX on stream and he will just trade like galore because he's so confident. Like, he does not care because he, like, I don't know, he's just that good. He knows he's not going to be losing all these trades on stream and get a bad name for himself. The reason why he blew up is because of the fact that he trades on stream and he wins so consecutively. And then the people who take his courses and his classes have such good testimonials because of the fact of how good he is. Like, he is a phenomenal guy. You can't say anything bad about Crown. If the worst thing you could say about Crown is that, like, he has bad language or something stupid. Like, he's a nice dude, like, and he knows what he's doing. He's such a good guy. Brendan, what's your crypto portfolio looking like? My crypto portfolio is looking like Bitcoin. I don't have my list pulled up. I could open up my Binance account and tell you, but it's off the top of my head, it is Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, EOS, Amise. I think Amise Go, and I feel like there's one that I'm missing. I want to say that there's one that I'm missing. I want to own Stellar. And then I want to own Tron. And I want to own some BNB. I believe that's it, yeah. Oh, and BAT. I own BAT as well. Basic Attention Token. That was the last coin I own. Sorry. And I own Ravencoin as well, actually. I own a very, very small amount of Ravencoin because I was mining it for a while. But I don't own it. Or I still own it. It's just in my wallet. It's in my wallet on, I don't know what it's called. God, what's the word? Not my soft wallet. You guys get the point. It's on my the word's totally slipping my mind. Oh god, that's embarrassing. XMR, I do not own any privacy coins. F Crown, no. Crown's the dude. They aren't on Binance, he's an idiot. Jeez. Stellar is a good pick, yeah. I want to get some Stellar. I have to go. Just want to let you know I appreciate the stream. Thanks for the attention and input. We'll be put back into the next one. Good night. Yo, thank you so much, BTC Buyer. Hopefully we'll see you in the next stream, dude. Thank you for swinging by here. Good picks. Hard wallet. Yes, but it's like... there's a special fancy name, but yeah. Watch Encash. Yeah, I've traded Encash a lot. I made some good money off Encash. I kind of want to buy a little bit of it. And you guys can't see this comment, but this dude is getting banned. Later, dude. Why would you say that? Well, cold wallet. Hard wallet. Paper wallet. It's not a paper wallet. It's like, yeah, it's a hard wallet. Sorry. I was trying to think of like I don't know. There's some fancy name for it, but I was totally forgetting. It's on a hard wallet. A ledger. It's not on a ledger. I do have a nano ledger. And it's in my closet right now, I think. I need to set it up. Will Brexit affect Bitcoin? Brexit? Isn't that the United Kingdom thing? I haven't looked into it, to be honest. It is the United Kingdom thing. I haven't looked into this because I'm in the United States. Remember me. Bye. All right. You should add super chat capabilities to your stream. I have something similar. So the thing with super chat is I gotta figure it out. I could turn it on. So what I have is, I just kicked my desk so hard. The thing with super chat is I've been told, I haven't looked into it. I've been told that they take like 50% of what they donate. It's like, or like a big portion of like what they donate goes to YouTube. And so what I've always done, because I used to stream on Twitch and stuff, is have a donate link. So in the description below, I have a donate link where you can donate as if it was super chat, except I get to keep like 99% of what's donated instead of only like 50 or 75% of it. Let me look that up. Let me look this up. That's actually a good point. Yeah. So YouTube takes 30%, or anywhere from 30 to 50% of the super chat donation. So yeah. So they take anywhere from 20 to 30% of a super chat donation. So yeah, that's why I don't use super chat. So I have a link. If people want to donate, there's a link in the. I just realized there's not. I was gonna say I have two links. I have one link. Well, let's pull it up. Hold up. Oops, that's not it. TCA description. That was it. Let me update this guy. Basically, there's a link where people can donate Bitcoin and where they can donate, what is that? where they can donate Bitcoin and they can donate like fiat currencies. There we go. What are you guys saying? Super chat takes 20. Yeah, dude, unfortunately. Breaking down hard. Hey, your short is looking good. Eating this. Wait, what's happening? That's insane. 20 to 30%. Yeah, they take 30 to 50% is what they take. Yo, I'm going to bed. Thanks and have a great night. Yeah, thank you so much, Jalen. Great having you in here. Breaking down. Oh shoot, we did wick. What do you know? We were moving for a second. But since it stopped, it's just still sideways. I would love to see a nice breakdown, dude. A nice breakdown. Break us down, baby. If we, oh man, that'd be really good. And by the way, if you guys want to join the Discord, before I end this here, what was I looking for? Oh, yeah, so before I end this here, guys, again, if you guys have any questions, ask away. But if you guys want to join the Discord or anything like that, or take a look at the Patreon, go ahead and take a look into the description below. The Discord's completely free. It's a community of us, completely free to join. So if you guys are interested or just want to join that or learn more or get in contact with me, that's probably the best way to do it. There's also an email in the About section on my channel. But everything like that is linked in the description down below. I do want to take this time, as always, you know, as I do at the end of every live stream. So I do this at the end of every live stream because you guys are here for the cryptocurrency content and you guys are here for technical analysis and learning more. So I do this at the end, so I respect you guys. I give you guys exactly what I'm telling you, and then this is my showcase for advertising how I support myself as a content creator. So if you guys don't know, this is Patreon. This is essentially how I earn money from YouTube because really YouTube doesn't pay me anything. You know, again, they they run ads and everything, but they pay me a very, very, very small and insignificant amount of money for all of that stuff. So this is really the way that I make money doing YouTube. So if you guys want to join, again, there's a couple tiers over here. I have a tier. I have a tier 1 early supporter. This is where you get like a lot of I didn't even show this. So this is where you get a lot of cool stuff. I give like Bitcoin updates, technical analysis. I critique your charts, personal tips. I try to teach technical analysis, and it's really more of an immersive one-on-one experience where if you have questions, we go through stuff, and it's a really cool experience as well, where I help show you like why things play out, what's going to play out. I can walk you through your charts. It's a pretty cool experience. It's more of like an immersive one-on-one experience. The $2 supporter over here is really cool. Essentially what it is every 2 weeks or on the 15th and the 30th of every month, you guys vote on a topic and I make a video about it. So essentially it's $1 for each. It's $1 every 2 weeks or $2 for choosing 2 videos. You guys, as the community, whoever is a tier 2 supporter, you guys choose the video topic. You guys create the video topics. You guys vote on them, and then you guys decide, what video I should essentially make twice a month. So it's really cool. It's $2, and it's a cool way for people to get active. So I do want to go ahead and chill that now. So there's my there's my shill. And bang, back up. Crypto analyst, we'll buy another 1 million. All right, dude. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream here. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like button. It helps out the channel a lot, and I will see you guys in the next video. Actually, I need to do one thing, so I'm gonna be I actually have to hang out here. I have to plug in some tags because I didn't realize I didn't have any tags on my live streams. I think we got this plugged in now. Tell you what, let's just pump this in here. Awesome. So thank you. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream here, guys. Thank you again for being with me tonight, and until next time, guys.